4th down and 6. Olbridge gotta have it. Shotgun formation. Nugent, a lot of time. Rolls out. He's running out of space. Will roll the other way. They look, corner of the end zone. Touchdown!
Rowan heading for the touchpad with the lead. And the Profs will take the men's 400-yard freestyle relay.
Andrews will be in shotgun. He takes the snap, fakes the handoff. He'll throw it down the left sideline. He's got a wide open receiver. He's got the touchdown.
Motion man is Simmons. Trotman throwing towards Simmons down the field, and he makes the catch in traffic for a Bearcats touchdown.
Back to pass, middle of the field. The catch is made by Britt. She's off to the races at the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10. Britt is in for the score.
Back on in, here's Yoxon. Yoxon to the backhand, trying to go to the front, makes the move and shot, and he scores!
And Gracie comes set and delivers. And that's it on the ground to second. Throw to first, in time, and the ball game is over. South Shore survives a late scare, and they are the 2024 New York State Little League Baseball champions. Live from MUP-Stadion in Vantaa, Finland, the PDF Sports Network is proud to welcome you into coverage of the International Federation of American Football U19 European Championships. In a Group C matchup, Finland hosts Poland as part of our first IFAF broadcast here on PDF. Good morning to everyone watching from the United States, and good afternoon to our international audience. My name is Joe Foreman, calling today's action from Naples, Florida, and I'm joined by my broadcast partner, David Pizzuto, from South River, New Jersey. And Dave, PDF's history has been filled with plenty of firsts, and while you and I got an extensive look at American football played in Finland last year, this is our first time covering international European competition in the IFAF. Today, we get a look at some of the best young talent for each of these two countries as Poland visits Finland in one of two Group C matchups on the schedule.
That's right. There is the lineup for today, and it's tomorrow's stars today, Joe. That's the best way to describe it. Every 2 years, the IFAF sponsors this European tournament for exactly that reason, to showcase how far the youth and development programs in these European nations have come and where they are going in respect to some of their counterparts in the West, here in North America, and so on. There is a major gap that's closing, Joe, and I'm sure we're going to talk about that along the way. But for today, you see it on your screen. 6 of the 10 nations in this tournament start their journey on, and this one, Joe, is not only a history-making day for us, but for these two teams as well. It's the first time ever these two teams are meeting, and we're so proud to have it here on PDF.
3 games on the schedule today, 1 game already in the books via forfeit, and plenty more football to come, both next month and later this year in September. But before we break down today's matchup, tell us a bit more about the format of this IFAF U19 European Championship and how a 2026 champion is going to be decided based upon what we see on the screen.
Right, Joe. So there are 10 teams that are competing this year, and the IFAF U19 European Championship is a tournament that takes place over 2 years. The teams have been broken down into 3 groups. Group A, which features 8-time defending champs Austria, Group B, and Group C. You can see them on your screen now. Groups A and B have 3 teams, and Group C, which is where these 2 teams are housed, has 4 teams. The calendar year in 2026, there are games that will be played today, and then a couple of games in May, and then again in September. We'll show you those now on your screen as well. You can see the rest of the schedule. By the time this year's games are completed, every team will have played 2 games in their respective groups. The tournament then picks up again next year in 2027 with the medal games. Some tiebreakers take effect, but essentially, Joe, all of those games in 2027 are more like playoff games, and it will culminate in a gold medal and 3rd place game in September of 2027. So, Joe, we may be 17 months away from crowning a champion, but every game, every drive, every down in a game like today will determine who wins a European title. In a tournament where between now and then, the rosters may change a fair amount as well.
That's certainly something to keep in mind throughout the rest of this year and into 2027. But these two teams arrive at this year's U19 championship in two very different spots. Of course, there is the ranking of each side that was assigned to each team coming in, but there is plenty more than geography that separates these two teams. One arrives with plenty of history competing in this event. The other is making their debut here today.
Right, Joe. You mentioned how last year PDF covered the top American football in Finland, and we mentioned in those broadcasts the deep and rich history the sport has in Finland. Professional football in Finland dates back to the 1980s, and with it, Joe, youth development programs. I'm going to throw it on your screen now. Finland is one of the small handful of nations that has been in this tournament from the jump. In fact, they won this tournament in each of the first three European championships in 1992, 1994, and in 1996. And then they followed up with a bronze medal in 1998. Now, it took a while for Finland to get back to the top, but in each of the past two tournaments, they've finished as the third place team. And you may say, why haven't they been able to win it all? Well, it's less of an indictment on Finland, which has had some really strong teams, than a testament to how good the rest of Europe is getting. And part of that development is more and more teams getting in the mix. Enter Team Poland, and they are new here in this arena. They're new, relatively new to American football, especially on the youth scene. As a nation, they've only competed in a total of 3 international tournament games since 2004. And this U19 appearance is a first for them. But they're here, Joe, because they've shown just how far they've come on the international stage. Now, they didn't catch any favors from the schedule makers, I'll tell you that, having to travel here to play Finland in their first ever game. But I'm so excited to see them compete here and lay down these roots. And who knows, maybe turn a lot of heads with a big showing here in Vantaa as a team we really don't know a lot about.
And Dave, we already mentioned our coverage of Finnish football, and you and I have had the opportunity to cover professional American football in the country of Finland as we debuted the Maple League last year here on the PDF Sports Network. We were treated to some all-time classics throughout the season, all the way to Maple Bowl 46. It's been nearly 7 months since you and I covered that game, and I know I speak for both of us when I say that we both enjoyed our experience covering the Maple League during the 2025 season. This year, we're excited to expand that coverage here on our YouTube channel for the first time and covering more national team events like this one right here.
That's right, Joe. Last year, our broadcasts of the Vatera Liga were geo-blocked in Finland. But thanks to the work of our partners, namely Rup Noronen, commissioner of the Maple League, and our friends at Ruutu and Kepit Systems, we'll be able to broadcast on YouTube without restrictions via tape delay, which is just fine for us here in the United States, Joe, because for us, it's close to 7 a.m. here. So during the Maple League season, we will carry the games more so in the late morning, the afternoons, and evenings stateside for our audience here on the other half of the hemisphere. And Joe, part of our expanded coverage includes things like this, national team games. I'm hopeful that we can feature some of the outstanding women and girls that play the sport in Finland as well. And who knows, maybe even some flag football, both domestic and international. We'd love that. We've expanded our wings here, Joe, and entities like the Maple League, the SAJL, and the IFAF are big reasons why. We owe them a lot, and as they look to expand their international footprint, Joe, we're so excited to be there with them.
No question about it. Plenty to look forward to here on PDF. But today's matchup not only gives us the chance to cover the IFAF for the first time, but it also offers us the chance to attempt our first live broadcast originating in Finland. That being said, this is uncharted territory for us, pulling the international feed in real time. And should we lose video at any time throughout the broadcast, we will continue to call the action as we reestablish the connection. That being said, we are closing in on the start of today's game, and we'll step aside for a quick break. When we come back, Poland and Finland kick off in Group C. That's coming up next here on the PDF Sports Network.
Attention local businesses and professionals. Isn't it time to elevate your game? Now you can advertise your business or product on PDF Sports Network. Your ad will appear on all of our broadcasts, including this one. Don't have a commercial? We'll make one for you, absolutely free. What better way to showcase your product and brand while supporting the best local sports, teams, and leagues? Call now at 732-723-8189 or visit us at pdfsportsnet.com.
We are back here live, Joe, and take it away as we're getting close to kickoff.
We are closing in on kickoff in this IFAF U19 European Championship game here on the PDF Sports Network. Plenty to look forward to in terms of covering the game of American football internationally here on PDF this year. And as we mentioned during our open, this is a first for you and I, Dave, and not just a first for you and I here on PDF, but a first for the country of Poland as well, competing in this event this year and into next year. Finland presents a big challenge. We know the quality of football in the country of Finland as we cover the Maple League, but it's a very exciting time for both of these countries. And once again, we'd like to thank our international audience for tuning in. In the lead up to this stream, Dave, one of the most anticipated streams ever here on the PDF Sports Network in terms of likes before we went live, in terms of viewership waiting for this stream to begin. So we can't wait to get started in this one here on PDF.
Yeah, it's really is a thrill for us here on PDF. We are a small network. You know, for those of you who might be tuning into us for the first time, we're a very small network here. Our roots are based in East Brunswick, New Jersey. And, you know, we started this company, Joe and I, about 4 years ago now, and we've reached kind of a global audience with this new offering. And thanks to our friends, like we mentioned, in Finland predominantly, and the SAJL and the federation that governs international football, like the IFAF, giving us the permission to cover this one. And yes, for our family and friends in Poland, this is their pretty lone outlet to watch the game. And so to have that kind of reach, Joe, 3,000 and 4,000 miles away, it's such a treat for us. And, we know when we created PDF Sportsnet and what it stands for is we're bringing to life things that normally couldn't be seen elsewhere. And to be a part of this and this tournament, we cover youth sports here in the States as well. It's so great to be able to expand this reach the way we have.
No question about it. Covering the Maple League, as we mentioned before, was a blast last season. It gave us our first taste of American football internationally, and now we get a chance to see some of the top young stars in these countries going head-to-head here today. And you mentioned it, Dave, during our pregame show. The stars of tomorrow taking the field here today. We've seen players in the Maple League compete in this event before, so there is some professional components to this, and we've talked about it during Maple League broadcasts, but the youth programs affiliated with many of those teams send athletes to this event. Those athletes receiving congratulations throughout the week on those social media channels as well. But we're just moments away from kickoff in this one. Poland and Finland going head-to-head here on the PDF Sports Network as the opening kickoff skips into the arms of the return man just inside the 10, and it's a good run back to get us started out across the 35 and to the 40-yard line.
Yeah, that was Sema who came out with it, and he had a full head of steam. There was a nice blocking ahead of him, and it took the Finland team all the way to the 40 to spill him down. But Poland will get to start this game in pretty good field position. That's exactly the way you want to start.
Certainly a good start for Poland. Under center for Poland will be Timon Bajczowski. He's in the shotgun on first down. This drive begins right around the 37-yard line. And it is a first down handoff, immediately blown up in the offensive backfield. Breaking through and coming through with the opening tackle is 16-year-old Luka Norivara.
Yeah, and that's something to note about this Finland team, Joe, is that they still are predominantly very young. Even though this is a U19 tournament, you'll see a lot of 16, 17-year-olds, and there's the 16-year-old, like you mentioned, Norvara, to come in, blow it up, and offensive and defensive line play is going to be huge in this one, Joe. 2nd and 14.
2nd and 14 from the 35-yard line. Poland once again lined up in the shotgun, two receivers wide to the left of the formation, and in a very unorthodox look, Dave, there is not a single wideout near the top side of the screen.
Yeah, and it's something that Finland will have to get used to here, matching up defensively.
It's a second down handoff and a broken tackle in the offensive backfield, but unable to go much further than that was the ball carrier on the play. Now, Dave, I don't believe we have a number 30 on our roster for Poland.
We do not. So if anybody in the chat knows who our gentleman number 30 is, the teams can change their rosters 24 hours leading up to the game. So in the roster that we received, which was 72 hours before the game, there must have been an addition here.
Once again, a shotgun look on 3rd down and 11 for Poland. And you can see that Finland showing some pressure off what would be the right edge relative to our perspective from the near side. And it's a bootleg out of the shotgun. Really nowhere for Bajczowski to go there. He got back to the line of scrimmage and picked up maybe a half a yard, bringing up 4th down.
Yeah, Joe, and, that's going to be a problem for Poland is, managing that line play so that they give Bajczowski enough time to throw the football and to scan down the field. And when you're able to win the line of scrimmage like that, Bajczowski has no choice but to kind of tuck it and run and try and get something out of that. Unfortunately, all he got was back to the line of scrimmage, and it'll force a punt here on 4th down.
So they did give him the original line of scrimmage where the drive began around the 37-yard line, 4th and 10, as Poland will punt away to Finland for the first time in this game. This kick skips down to the 20-yard line. It is received there. Broken tackle on the play, and another. The return continues. Juho Kasari making some nice moves, but could not escape a host of Polish tacklers as he's brought down at about the 25-yard line.
Yeah, there is a flag down on the play, Joe, as well, so we might get a holding here on Finland. Looks like that was the early return on that call, and that's the gesture that's coming up. So our first flag of the game will pin Finland back a little bit. A pretty good punt, all things considered, with the rush coming in, and Poland did a nice job of bottling things up, and Finland will have to start 10 yards behind where he ended up on the field.
Well, Kasari did a nice job early in that return, broke a couple of tackles, and once you leave a defender or two, or I should say a coverage specialist or two in this situation behind you on a return, good things tend to happen, but a good job there by Poland to rally and make sure that Kasari couldn't go any further. You mentioned the 10-yard penalty, Dave. That backs up Finland to about their own 10 or 11-yard line, 10 yards from the spot of the foul on that call.
Yeah, so they'll have to work from behind here, as I believe Peltokangas is our starting quarterback here for Finland.
And he will hand off on the game's first snap, and absolutely nowhere for Ronnie Siren to go on that play.
Yeah, he's trying to string that out to the right side, and unfortunately nothing really developing there. It looks at first like there might be some green for him to attack, but wasn't there, and Poland does a nice job of working the line of scrimmage and stringing it out and making sure they put him down for little to no gain.
We've seen these defensive fronts come up with a pair of big tackles for loss on the first 2 drives of the game as we approach the 8:40 mark here in the opening quarter. Pre-snap motion now, 3 receivers left. It's a screen pass complete. It was caught by Lenny Ortica, and he takes it out close to the 20-yard line.
Yeah, and even though that's only a gain of 6 or 7, it does make it a 3rd and manageable here, which is exactly what you're looking for, and, give your team a chance here on 3rd down. But, Finland ran a lot of this, Joe, about a lot of periphery game in last year's tournament as well. A lot of screen passes over to the flank. You expect your wide receivers to make plays once they get the ball in their hand, and that's exactly what happened on that play.
Poland had that covered pretty well. Ortica using his speed to get to that edge and to pick up a couple on that play. It's another throw and another attempted screen on 3rd down. That falls incomplete. Once again, Ortica the intended target.
Yeah, that was the same exact play, but the other side of the field. They're trying to use the wide side of the field, the near side in this case, but Finland will go 3 and out here in a good defensive stand by Poland. And, we don't know what would have happened there after the reception, but for Poland to stiffen up here, only allow 3 total yards. The ball's at about the 15-yard line. The lines are very faint down there. But, they're going to get the ball back in pretty good field position here.
And you have to think that in response to the push we saw up front on the first down run, Finland deciding to go with the screen pass on back-to-back plays could neutralize it just a bit. Makes you think twice as a defensive lineman and an edge rusher in those situations. It is going to be a second punt in this first quarter. This time, Finland will send it away to Poland. Punt coming right from the doorstep of the goal line. Now, it's tough to make at the end zone. Looks like this game's being played on a soccer pitch with the yard markers, but you can see the pylon maybe a yard or two behind the punter.
Yeah, it looks like the line of scrimmage is like the 13, Joe. So he's get this off from about the 5. Because it's hard to tell with the soccer lines as well, because it's not exactly flush.
Clock stopped at 8:24 as we await this snap. It's a bit of a high snap brought down. Good protection in front of that punt attempt by Si-Ying Wu, and it skips across the 40, rolling toward the 35, and it is going to be touched up inside of the Poland 35 at about the 34-yard line.
It's about a 52-yard punt, 53-yard punt. So that's a pretty good trade-off if you're Finland. So Poland will have their second set of downs here on offense in the first quarter. Still plenty of time remaining. Both teams going 3 and out on their first drives.
Once again, Poland lined up in the shotgun. This time, 4 receivers, make it 3. And it's going to be another first down handoff, and a good run on first down by the aforementioned number 30. Positive gain on first down, picks up about 4 or 5 yards.
Yeah, so again, if there's anybody in the chat or anybody out there who knows who number 30 is for Poland, we do not have a number 30 on our roster, unfortunately. So we'll take a look at that, but we'd love to give him some credit. 2nd and 5 coming up.
Once again, a shotgun look and an attempted throw on the pump fake. This one sails out of bounds. I think Bajkowski wise to throw that one away. Nothing open. It looked like his first read may have been there, and he was forced to tuck it back down.
Yeah, and you respect the fact that Poland wants to mix things up, Joe, but they just got themselves a nice 5-yard gain on first down. Would have liked to have seen them pound it again and test this Finland defensive line again, get some push there, make it a 3rd and short. Instead here, 3rd and 5. Let's see what they got.
Oliver Zaremski wearing number 30.
Zambreski, yeah. Thank you.
It's going to be 3rd down and about 6 for Poland here. 2 receivers wide to the right. Once again, Poland in the shotgun. Zaremski motion to the left of Bajkowski as a flag comes in for a false start.
Yeah, Zambreski was listed as number 16 on our roster, so we'll change that to number 30. As one thing we learned, Joe, about the IFAF and this tournament is that teams are allowed to have completely different rosters game to game, and that makes sense because some kids will age out during the tournament, but you're allowed to dress 45 different players every single game, and your rosters have to be in 96 hours before the game, so they have to be in 4 days before the event, and then you're allowed to make substitutions to injury 24 hours before.
It's going to be a 3rd down pass, a short screen. It's set up well, and Zaremski is out across midfield, being forced toward the sideline as he is wrapped up and tackled at about midfield. Luka Norivara on the tackle, but a big gain on 3rd down earns Poland our first down of the game.
Yeah, perfectly designed. The linemen stayed true. They didn't go past the line of scrimmage there. Very patient, and Bajkowski waited to the last moment to fire that one off. Great play by Poland, and they've got the game's first down.
First down handoff once again to Zaremski, and he picks up about 3.
Yeah, Zaremski doing a nice job there, just very patient as well, trying to find the hole. It took a little time to develop there, but he's able to pile forward for 3 yards.
Once again, Poland lined up in the shotgun on 2nd down. Officially a gain of about 2 on that play, maybe 3. Poland's been playing with plenty of tempo early in this one. Once again,
right.
No receivers to the left of the formation, 2 receivers to the right. And Zaremski will take the handoff up the middle, and he fights through some contact and gets close to a first down.
Yeah, that's going to be about a yard short, Joe, but you're right. He's starting to get a little bit more comfortable there behind the line of scrimmage and starting to put that shoulder down, looking for contact and, piling forward. And again, Poland wants to work quickly, so it's hard for us to get these replays in, but we're going to try to sneak it in here, get another look at this nice run.
On the other side of this replay, it is a 3rd down and a short 2, maybe a long 1. And again, it's a handoff out of the shotgun. Good for a 1st down. This time, it is Gregor's Schwerud on the carry.
Yeah, but that moves the sticks again and a little bit of a change of pace. I mean, Poland's got some big bodies up there in front and in the backfield. Schwerud, again, he too can find that hole, and then once he finds it and running downhill, that's trouble.
And Schwerud will get the carry again here on 1st down, but a nice job to wrap him up around the ankle by Rup Nieminen.
Yeah, actually, Joe, I think, that was Nieminen, and he did a nice job there of finding some ankle there and getting him down for just the gain of 1. Poland starting to find some rhythm with the run game. That was a good way to stop it right there.
Poland was beginning to assert their will at the line of scrimmage on this drive, and they will fake the handoff here on 2nd down. It's a short completion in the flat and a big hit to stop that play about 4 yards short of a 1st down.
Yeah, but again, pretty well designed. You get, some movement there, the fake draw underneath, and then you got Bajczowski moving. He doesn't have to do much, right? He has to go just 5 and 7 steps to his right side, and waiting there wide open was Piszczalo to make the play.
Poland continuing to play with tempo. It is 3rd down and about 5. A flag comes out at the line of scrimmage. This could be a free play as Bajczowski is forced out of bounds just short of the 1st down marker. We'll see what the flag is.
Yeah, you'd like to think, though, that this is going to be an automatic 1st down, as it looked like Finland and that left side of the defensive line jumped and hiccuped just a little bit, and that allowed for the flags to come out.
And indeed, it's going to be offsides against Finland here, and that is enough to award Poland a 1st down as this drive continues toward the red zone.
Yeah, we got another look at that one, and that resulted in the 1st down. Good drive materializing here.
Powered by the ground game. It's a throw here on 1st down, and a huge hit on the other side of that reception. Kasari putting a big hit on the receiver there.
Yeah, and that time the receiver had to work back to the football, Joe, and that's what hurt that play right there, because the receiver had set up, maybe 3 or 4 yards beyond the line of scrimmage, but because he has to come back and make that catch, it results in a very minimal gain here, just a 1-yard gain.
If our live chat can help us with number 11 on Poland as well. He is also not on our roster as the 2nd down handoff goes for a nice gain. And Schwerud ends up maybe 3 or 4 yards short of the 1st down marker.
Yeah, and this run game is really impressive now, Joe, because it's not sexy, it's not really anything. They're not using much counter motions, or they're not stringing any of the linemen out. It's just pure power versus power here. And Poland, with 6 guys at the line of scrimmage, they're winning the battle and getting that push that they need.
3rd down at about 4. And it's going to be a handoff, and that is going to be blown up in the offensive backfield. Apo Vanio back there to blow that play up behind the line of scrimmage, and that will bring up a 4th down play from just outside of the 20. A bit further back than that, in fact.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it'll be about a 4th and 8, so you're looking at about a 4-yard loss on that play, and that's a nice play by Vanio, and Poland's going to fix the kick here. This will be about a 42-yard field goal here, Joe, for Churcott. Yep.
Certainly no chip shot. And the kick is up. And the kick is good. Poland opens the scoring in the 1st quarter. There looks to be about 2:17 remaining in the quarter. We do not have a live feed of the official game clock, but it is Poland with a 3-0 lead, just over 2 minutes to play in the 1st.
That was a gorgeous drive. 6 minutes off the clock, so almost half of the quarter gone in that drive. They did it with a little bit of a mix, Joe. You know, power run game obviously was the lead on that, but some periphery of the passing game. Poland not having to put the ball in danger going deep down the field. That's a slow, methodical, brilliant drive by the Polish side, and they take the first lead of the IFAF U19 tournament, 3-0 over Finland on what was a great drive. And remember, Joe, it started with getting that 3-and-out deep in Finland territory. Finland actually got a really nice punt away, but still, good starting field position again for Poland. They drive, 35, 40 yards down the field, and Shurkot made it look like a chip shot from 42 yards away. He had plenty of distance, and that's a great start.
He sure did. That might have been good for 15 yards further, Dave.
Yeah.
An impressive kick. We also have another roster note for Poland, courtesy of our live chat, as this kick travels straight out of bounds. So,
Kasper Chorzewski.
Yep. He wears number 11 in this game, listed on our roster as number 9.
All right, so it's good to know.
Meanwhile, an illegal kickoff out of bounds will give Finland great starting field position on this drive.
Yeah, it certainly went a good distance, that kickoff, but I don't know if they're making them kick again here, Joe, from further back. Yeah,
they're choosing to let them re-kick instead of field position.
Yeah, Finland wants to utilize their special teams game and set up their blocking here down the field for what could be a good return instead of taking the automatic field position. So we'll see if this ends up paying off.
You don't see this very often, especially with the amount of American football we're exposed to from the NFL.
Yes, sir, that's right. Most will take the yards, but now they'll have to kick from the 30, and we'll see what kind of distance Shurkot gets in this one.
They will kick off a second time, and it's a good one. This one almost makes it all the way to the goal line. Chance for a return here as a flag comes out on the backside of the return. And we have that flag down around the goal line. On the return there was Hermanni Raitanen.
Yeah, and, gives cause to second guessing, right, Joe? Because if this is against Finland on a hold again, they're going to be back inside their own red zone at least, maybe even inside their own 15, depending on where the spot was. And they could have had the ball at their own 40. Instead, they'll have to start from deep in their own side of the field again.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a team pass up the field position for a re-kick, and in this situation, it certainly did not pay off, as Finland is going to be backed up to their own 10-yard line to begin this drive. Also, Dave, just to note the quarters, 12 minutes, correct?
12 minutes, that's correct.
Okay. Our live chat was posing that question, just wanted to confirm.
Yeah, it's pretty easy for us, Joe, because the Vatera Liga that we cover in Finland follow the same rule set.
Yep.
So all of them stay standard.
It's a first down, screen pass, bobbled, and
Poland
covers it up in the end zone. If that is a lateral, it is a touchdown. I think that was recovered in the end zone, but they're going to say no. They're going to say at the 1 yard line.
At the 1, correct.
Wow. Yeah, wow is right. And looking at that play in real time, I'm sure we'll get another look at it, Dave. I thought maybe at best it was a pass made directly sideways, but credit to Poland for playing through, and that's not to say Finland didn't. Polish just got on top of it.
Yeah, you're going to see it, and in slow motion as well, to kind of slow it down and get it again. We'll go back to live action in just a moment. In fact, we'll go back right now before we see a second look at it as Poland starts.
And it's going to be a perfectly blocked touchdown run. Zambreski takes it in, or Zaremski, excuse me. And it's going to be a Poland touchdown to quickly make it 9-0.
Well, there's an easy drive, right? One play, 1 yard, and just kind of walking in is Zaremski. And, wow, that's just a gorgeous little bit of blocking there. Finland maybe caught a little bit by surprise, but their defenders, Joe, on that run, they're all backpedaling. They're all, high in their stance, and they're all going backwards. That's a good sign for Poland, which will now take maybe a 10-0 lead. Yes, they do, after the high snap.
Well, how about that job by the holder in that situation? That was a very high snap. And I think Bajczowski was able to snatch it down, and give his kicker a chance.
And, you know, Joe, last year when Finland in the tournament, they were, I don't want to say they were a favorite, but a lot of people thought that third place was, you know, lower than the expectation. And that's because they lost the game to Sweden that would have put them in the championship game. And, Joe, in that game, they had 7 turnovers in that game. They also had a punt that was blocked in that game, and they only lost by 3 in overtime. So, you know, the turnover has been an Achilles heel sometimes for this Finland team, and now it leads directly to 7 points the other way. And Finland's in a hole here, 10-0, and still in the first quarter.
And I think the big concern now for Finland outside of a 10-point deficit is that Poland was able to assert their will in the ground game on their last scoring drive that ended in a field goal. And when you have a team that was able to run the ball as well as they did early in the game, you're trailing by 10, it puts a bit more pressure on you to get on the board with just under 2 minutes to play in the opening quarter. Once again, on the return, it is Raitanen forced out just across, I believe, the 20-yard line, perhaps just shy of it, in fact. And that is where Finland will get started on their third drive.
Yeah, and again, Joe, you know, it's not because of this, but you think back to that kickoff, right? And instead of starting from the 40, you're now starting at your own, whatever it was, 10, 12-yard line. You know, maybe you don't run that play on first down. You know, maybe you just pound the rock at that point if you're sitting at the 40. Instead, it leads to the fumble lateral situation, and next thing you know, Poland's in the end zone.
So Finland will start just shy of the 30. Hard to make out those markers on the sideline, but it's a big first down carry that will take them to the first down marker just shy of the 40. Good drive starter for Finland as they look to get back in this.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you're Finland here, you have to forget about the score and just go back to basics, right? And this is only their 4th offensive play from scrimmage, really their 5th after that fumble. And, you know, you just want to get back to basics here, run the football, establish some of the dominance you think you can have at the line of scrimmage, and hopefully it'll lead to some good things. It's their first down of the game.
Pistol look for Finland here. Trips to the right of the formation. And they will hand off on a second consecutive down. This time it's a much shorter gain. Maybe 2 or 3 on that carry for Siren.
Yeah, and again, you'd like to think Siren's going to carry the ball a lot in this game, and that time he goes, you know, towards the right side of that line. Not a lot of space there, but he makes himself sideways and, you know, kind of gets through some trees there and pulls ahead for 3 yards, maybe a little less than 4, and so, you know, puts you with the sticks in front of you, and that's what you want to see.
Finland into the shotgun on second down as we close in on the end of the first quarter. It is a long throw up the sideline, double coverage, and incomplete.
Yeah, that one, Joe, had a little bit too much loft for my liking. And, you know, Peltokangas had some good time in the pocket, but he throws it into double coverage here, and that ball just hung up just a little bit too long. And we'll get another chance to see it here on the replay, but just kind of ill-advised, and that's going to take a great effort by Raitanen to get up there and grab that one.
Kozlowitz and Ulatowski on the coverage there in the secondary for Poland.
It's a big third down coming up here for Finland.
It sure is. Shotgun look once again for Finland. 2 receivers wide to the right, 1 wide to the left. It's a designed rollout and a throw downfield into double coverage once again, incomplete. No chance for a connection there. A pair of Polish defenders on the coverage.
Yeah, and that time Poland was able to get the rush in. It's a good job in the backfield by Finland, the running back on the play, making a really nice chip block to get Peltokangas a little bit more time, but it just wasn't anything materializing. And, you know, you see on the bottom of your screen here, Joe, on the replay, you're going to see it's, you know, they did have a guy open there in the flat right near the line, right near the first down marker, but didn't work out. 4th down.
And a bad snap. Perhaps catastrophe for Finland. Indeed it is. 5 Polish defenders get on top of the punter, Ying-Woo. And once again, Poland is going to take over in phenomenal field position, already leading by 10.
Joe, we say it all the time. Special teams are special for this reason, because it seems like every game there's something that happens on special teams that swings momentum clearly in another direction. That is not a block punt. That's just a bad snap, and Poland takes over.
And it will be a first down run for Poland as they look to make this potentially a 3-score game with a touchdown. And all of a sudden, if you're Finland in the first quarter, your backs are very much up against the wall.
Oh, no doubt about it. And, you know, Poland has had great field position as well throughout, as we're going to have the end of the first quarter here, Joe.
At the end of quarter number 1, or perhaps not quite. They did put a minute up on the clock. That might be for the
that's
break
the rest,
between
yeah.
quarters. Yes, break between quarters, another 50 seconds or so. It is Poland 10 and Finland nothing after the first 12 minutes of play. And Dave, on the opening drive of the game, Finland's defense was able to contain the ground game of Poland. On drive number 2, after a punt by Finland, Poland really began to assert their will on the ground. They've now asserted their will defensively and on special teams on back-to-back Finland possessions.
Yeah, exactly. And Joe, what it's led to, you know, from the start, really, you know, Poland gets their first possession just inside their own 40-yard line, right? Maybe their 37. The second drive, they started at their own 40. Their third drive, they started Finland's 1. And here on drive number 4, they start deep in on the cusp of the red zone of Finland as well. So, you know, field position has had a big thing to do with that. And, of course, it's because of Finland's inability here to hold on to the ball there on that one drive. And then, of course, with the botched punt.
And I thought perhaps there might be some time for Wu to scoop up that ball and maybe get some sort of kick away. But after the initial low snap and bobble, he had no chance and was immediately taken down by 5 Polish defenders. Poland now with it, I believe just inside of the red zone. The down marker a bit inside of the 20-yard line as we await the start of the second quarter. But Dave, a touchdown here, and Finland all of a sudden is bordering on early desperation mode, especially given that they have just 1 first down thus far.
Yeah, that's just it. And, you know, again, you don't want to take anything away from the play calling, but, you know, Finland had a couple of back-to-back runs that really started to establish the line of scrimmage, Joe. And then they went to the passing game, and they had, you know, a couple of passes that were really errant and weren't on target. And that's what forced them to go, instead of a 3-and-out, really a 4-and-out on that drive. And they just haven't been able to get in rhythm, and they just haven't been comfortable yet in this game offensively. And then on the flip side, if you're playing defense in this game for Finland, you know, you hate having to walk out and you're already pinned down at your own 20. It leaves you very little room for error here, and that's dangerous. And Poland obviously is going to take advantage of this. You know, they have a kicker who can kick from this and make it look easy. So now the goal is trying to get 7 out of this.
Shotgun look, 2 receivers wide to the right. It's a handoff. Saremski. And he's going to be just a bit short of the first down marker. Give him a gain of 3 on that carry, bringing up a 3rd down and 2.
Yeah, 3rd and 2
Maybe
or 3
3,
here. Well,
yeah.
We can always change
Long
that.
2,
make it
short
long.
3.
Exactly. Pick your poison, but they'll go quickly again.
And once again, they will hurry to the line. This time, 3 receivers out there. Poland in the gun. Bit of an awkward snap, and Bajczowski didn't have a chance.
No, and I think that snap came in early, Joe, because the offensive line did not move at all when that ball was snapped. So I think half of the line was expecting that maybe a longer count there, and so nothing got established. We'll get to see it a little bit on a replay here if we could sneak it in.
Maciej Churkot going to come out for another field goal attempt. Made it look easy from about 42 earlier in the game during the first quarter. Not to mention Bajczowski's hold on the extra point as well. Good snap, good hold, kick on the way, and it is 13-0 Poland over Finland.
Yeah, 2 for 2 for the young man, and Churkot, the 17-year-old who will probably figure into this tournament the entire way. He's given Poland some great kickoffs in this game and 2 big field goals. That's a nice result for Poland, who now have 10 points off of Finland turnovers and have a 13-point lead. And Finland will officially need 2 touchdowns in this game if they score nothing else to overtake this.
Well, I think if you're Finland, you're certainly okay with the result of that drive, especially given how that first quarter played out. And it's been a tremendous start for Poland, but if you ask Finland, it's not necessarily how you start, it's how you finish. See what I did there, Dave?
Yep.
Couldn't help it. I had to do it at least once.
Pun very much intended that
Pun
time.
Very much intended.
For Joe Foreman. Score a point for him in that column.
Yeah, well, it might be subtract a point depending on who you ask, but I have to stay true to character as we await this kickoff from Poland. But as I was saying before the shameless pun, if you're Finland, you are perfectly okay with that result. 3 points on the board, keeps it a 2-score game. Poland also did receive the opening kickoff. That's something to keep in mind as well. So Finland still very much in this game, hoping to get things jump-started with a good return here. And they will not have one, as once again, Poland is right there on special teams. This drive will begin at about the 25-yard line.
Yeah, and that's one thing I'm noticing about Poland, Joe, is they get a lot of guys to the football, and obviously on the kickoff, that's exactly what you want to do. But you wonder if Finland is going to try to take advantage of that and maybe do something, either a counter play or a misdirection here to try and get Poland pulling one way and then getting something done the other way. We saw Poland do that on one of their drives, some misdirection, a fake draw, and then work one out to the flat. We'll see if Finland employs that as well here on this drive.
It's a spread shotgun formation, 4 receivers wide, and a handoff up the middle will go for a nice first down gain of about 4.
Yeah, and again, doesn't look all that pretty, but those are effective runs because what you're doing is you're giving your offensive line momentum. You're giving them rhythm. They're playing, north and south, and they're moving bodies. And that's what you want to do, especially early in a game against a team you really don't have any tape on and you really haven't been able to scout very well. Just pull ahead, get your mandatory 3 and 4 yards, and extend drives.
Askulinia on that first down carry. Motion man here, Yortika, and rolling to his right and running out of time is Peltokangis. He is brought down behind the line of scrimmage. And once again, Poland in the offensive backfield blows up a play before it can get started. However, I think we may have had a penalty for an illegal motion, Dave.
Yeah, it's going to be a hold. Well, we'll see if they're going to decline it, it looks like, because it's a smart move there.
Yeah, I think
because of the loss.
The signal by the official was anticipating the penalty being declined.
Yeah, and our folks at home are watching the replay, Joe, and this looks like a designed run from the jump, and you just don't see Finland really engaging, with Polish players to try and get some blocks there for Peltokangis, and that's a tough loss right there. About 7 yards of a loss on the play will bring up a 3rd down and 12.
Well, Dave, they've decided to accept the penalty.
Oh, they have? Okay.
So it is going to be 2nd down. The official initially, I thought, was signaling for an illegal motion, but he was anticipating that the Polish sideline was going to decline the penalty. That's the hand signal he was giving.
I could have sworn they made the decline signal on that, but I guess
I
was wrong. Oh, they did.
The official was anticipating that Poland would decline, and they did not. They accepted it.
Gotcha. So 2nd and 16, or maybe even more. 2nd and 17.
It's more, yeah. It looks like almost a 2nd and 20.
Right.
And big trouble here for Peltokangis. He gets away from one tackler, but not another.
Fumbled it. Oh, no, did he?
He did not. It was a big hit at the end of the play, but it sure looked like a potential fumble-inducing hit. And you have to love the way the Polish defense is getting after it through the first 16 minutes of this game.
Well, the way the defense just kind of responded, it looked like they were moving towards the ball. But we're looking at a 3rd down now and very long. Looks like 20 yards here.
Things going from bad to worse for Finland with how this drive has played out. I think momentum perhaps swung just a bit in their direction after that stop on the last drive, holding Poland to a field goal. However, that momentum right back with Poland, especially with one more 3rd down stop, as Finland will look to throw. They throw deep. They throw complete across midfield. Raitanen headed for the end zone and in for a Finland touchdown.
Well, how is that for a response? A nice throw, but Reitanen, it didn't look like he was going to get there, Joe, but he did. And wow, the biggest play of the tournament so far. It belongs to Finland on a 3rd and 20. They're able to capitalize, and the hookup was there. Single coverage, no safety help there. And the safety kind of got caught up underneath, and that leads to 6 points the other way. Wow.
Peltokangas to Reitanen for 80-plus yards. And Finland is right back in it. They're within a touchdown pending the extra point. On is Si-Ying Wu for the PAT. And the extra point is good. It's now a 6-point game, and the Finnish sideline has come back to life.
Well, yeah, you know what, Joe? And right before that play was snapped, I was just about to say, with these teams having just formed, how many plays in the playbook truly are there for 3rd and 20, right? Like, how many have you been able to script in such a short time these kids have been together and assembled? You don't have much, right? So sometimes you just have to call the go route and say, go down the field and I'll try to get the ball to you. And that's exactly what happened on that play. And, you'd like to think that was practiced and rehearsed multiple times, but I can assure you this is one of the first times they're working a play like this or a scenario like this in 3rd and long, and here's the result.
And if you're Poland, that one stings in a big way. They were a stop on 3rd and long away from getting the ball back, leading by 2 scores, potentially in great field position. Instead, it's now a 6-point game, and they need to get on top of this kickoff. It's loose. It's still loose, and I think Poland has it at the bottom of the pile.
I think you're right, Joe. I think that ball kind of was pinballing around off of a couple of legs and bodies, and finally Poland was able to get down on it, and that's a little bit of relief and a little bit of an exhale, obviously, for this Polish unit, and head coach T.J. Richardson there dodged a bullet.
Big time. And I mentioned the momentum shift with Finland's defense holding Poland to just a field goal. The Polish look to have seized that momentum right back on the 3rd and long. Not so. Finland touchdown and nearly disaster on the kickoff for Poland as they take over at their own 30. A flag is out, and this play is whistled dead.
Yeah, looks like movement here against Poland, and this is their worst starting field position of the game, Joe, at their own 30-yard line. It's not bad field position, but it looks like it was a motion penalty against Finland, so they'll get an automatic 5 yards here.
Move this one up to the 35-yard line, 1st and 5 now, and these are those down and distance situations where you can do just about anything.
Yeah, lots in the playbook here.
Shotgun look once again. They fake the handoff. Wachowski breaks a tackle and dives down for about 2 or 3 yards across the original line of scrimmage. Give him 2, and that will bring up 2nd and 3.
Yeah, that was a very adventurous 2-yard gain because it looked like Bacharski was going to get taken down in the backfield, and Finland was about to get their first sack of the game. But instead, he's able to make one guy miss and pull ahead for 2 yards.
Shotgun look once again on 2nd down. It's been exclusively shotgun for Poland so far in this first half. Pre-snap motion on the play, another fake handoff, and time quickly running out. Wachowski flips it into the flat, complete. It was caught by Jakub Sema, and he picks up a 1st down.
Yeah, it's just a nice play and a nice read, understanding you have a safety valve underneath that you can hit in case you get into trouble. Bacharski has some choices here. He can tuck this one down, run it, or just drop it off. He delivers it a little bit high, but the play is made as Poland will work quickly. We'll get you back to live action.
It's a 1st down handoff. And a nice gain on 1st down for Zaremski.
Yeah, brilliant. That's just a simple A-gap run. Poland's working quickly again. They don't want to give us a chance to run any replays. They don't want to give Poland the chance to line up, but that was actually a yard short.
2nd and 1 for Poland, and Zaremski will take the handoff once again. He has the edge and is taken down across the 40. That's a good tackle there by Kasari. He was on an island all alone there, and if Zaremski beats him, he might still be running.
Yeah, and you're starting to see, Joe, that Poland is keeping Finland off balance, right? They're not allowing them to get comfortable. They're not allowing them to get substitutions in the game as well. It's a well-employed cerebral drive going on here for Poland.
They've operated very efficiently in this hurry-up offense, and there haven't been many plays like this one where they've taken some time ahead of the snap at the line of scrimmage. They've lined up, and they've looked to go quickly. Thought maybe we had early movement out of the slot, and so did everyone on the field as that one was nearly picked.
Yeah, and they sniffed that one out well, did they not, Finland? But
I think a lot of the players stopped playing anticipating a flag, and they didn't get it.
Yeah, good point.
You'll see it on the replay if you run it back, Dave. I thought there was early movement from the slot receiver position and that a flag would come out, and it looked like several players out there stopped moving.
Yeah, we're running it now, and yeah, it was just a little bit of a blip as we get back to live action.
Very nearly miscommunication there on the handoff, but Zaremski gets out of the backfield and maybe just across the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, but that sets up a 3rd and long now, and now if you're Finland, you have some options. You see how they're racing some substitutions in the game here, Joe, that you're trying to set up here, maybe in the nickel package or maybe dialing up a blitz here and forcing Bajczowski to make a big decision or a quick decision here, understanding he has to get the ball downfield.
Poland effectively in no man's land right now. 3rd and long outside of field goal range. Bajczowski running out of time, completes the screen over the middle, and Zaremski has a lot of room. He's stripped, and it is recovered by Finland on the fly. Snatching it out of the air was Joona Virtanen.
Wow, and that's a great job with the strip on the back half of that play. I was just about to say, what a gorgeous play by Poland on this one. Again, just to show underneath that you're available, that you're an option there. As Bajczowski's looking downfield, nobody really accounts for Zaremski, and the good play made right there on the strip. What a gorgeous play. And he ends up making the fumble recovery as well.
Virtanen out of midair snatched that football after it was stripped away from Zaremski. And Finland has it back, trailing by just 6. This drive begins inside of their own 15-yard line. It's a 1st down handoff up the middle, and that play is immediately blown up at the line of scrimmage. But Dave, going back to the last drive for Finland very quickly, we didn't talk about it much as we were discussing the touchdown and the big play, but how about the decision to accept that penalty and afford Finland an extra down?
Yeah, it's a good point, really good point. And again, these things set themselves up like dominoes, and you wonder, would this have happened if that didn't happen, and would this have happened? And it gives cause to second guessing as well, and these are things that go in the mental Rolodex for next time, perhaps.
Trips look out of the shotgun. It's a screen pass. Poland is there, but the tackle is broken. And that's a big broken tackle by Ortica in the flat. A flag is out. Now, something else, Dave, that I wanted to mention very quickly, I was going to prior to the fumble. You'd have to think that on that screen pass, the offensive lineman got more than 2 yards downfield, wouldn't you think?
I thought about that as well, but the last time they ran that play, they did not. I was specific to look at that because of so much real estate back there. But we'd have to go back and take a look at it, and we probably can. But the flag was against Finland for holding. So they're going to be backed up again in a very similar situation that they were in last time. Instead of it being about a 3rd down and 4 coming up, it'll be a 2nd down and 19 following that. And this is looking eerily similar. However, that ball is about the 10-yard line now, just outside.
If you're looking to throw downfield, you have to be careful as you close in on your own end zone. Peltokangas rolling to his right, completes, and that's a nice chunk they pick up on the 2nd and long play. It looks like they got about 7.
Yeah, it's going to be a 3rd and about 5 or 6 because it was a half the distance penalty as well because they were already backed up. So they didn't get backed up the full 10 yards on that last penalty. So it'll be 3rd down and 5 coming up here.
You will certainly take that if you're Finland. This play is going to be a big one. Not sure how many more opportunities you get in this first half if you're Finland. Poland hoping to get 1 or 2 more chances with the lead. Peltokangas will look to throw, and that one hung in the air. It is caught And I believe that Tumainen has enough for a first down after he made a couple of defenders miss off the reception.
Yeah, Tumainen just had to kind of meet that ball, where it was going. There was a lot of loft again. When you see that ball hanging up in the air, you're like, oh, that's trouble. But he did a nice job to kind of meet it, find it, and then know where the sticks are in order to get past the first down marker. And you can see it on your screen now, just doing a nice job of spinning and twisting. And this ball now at about the 33-yard line. So Finland's got themselves a little bit of breathing room here.
Nicely done there by the 17-year-old Finnish wideout. It's a first down handoff and a fumble. It is loose and Poland has it. Another costly turnover for Finland. And Dave, you mentioned how in this event, both in this game and in the past, turnovers have been an issue for the Finnish.
It has, and now, once again, they set Poland up on a short field, and they give them an excuse to grab a stranglehold of the game. We're going to see it again, a little bit slowed down, so we get a good look at the strip, and, that's just the case where the running back is trying to pull forward for any amount of extra yards he can get, and sometimes it's just best, Joe, to get two arms across the football and get yourself down on first down. Live to see another down.
Poland takes over in Finnish territory. It's a first down completion. And a nice gain on that completion down to about the 31-yard line.
Yeah, good first down play here. You look at Poland and what they've been able to do in this game, kind of grinding it out, pounding the rocks, softening up that line. And now they come right back and get themselves a nice healthy gain on first down. Looks like about 8 yards of a gain on that one.
Shotgun look once again on second down and about 3. Bajczowski flanked by Zaremski in the backfield. Two receivers wide to the left, one wide right. And Bajczowski will hand off to Zaremski, who is stonewalled perhaps a yard behind the line of scrimmage, and that will make it a 3rd and 4.
Yeah, nothing doing that time for Zaremski. And it will be a 3rd down and 4. And, I love what Poland does here of lining up quickly here, not allowing really Finland to get comfortable defensively and then taking their time at the line of scrimmage. But that was a long delay between plays there. And you might think that it made Finland a little bit more comfortable. You can see they only have 3 on the down line against 6 for Poland.
And we had a whistle come in. Now, Dave, there have been a lot of requests in the live chat for the full rosters. Well, you think at halftime maybe we create a page on our website with screenshots of the rosters?
I did see that, and what I can say, Joe, for our fans in attendance is if you follow both of these sides on Instagram, and on Finland the handle is Yankee Futis. It starts with a J, Genki Futis, and then Poland's Instagram page, they have the full rosters on there. They're not with numbers, but they do have the names there. So that's an option. I just don't know if during the half we can come up with that, Joe, but we can see.
And it's going to be a toss out of the gun on 3rd down with a head of steam running downhill.
Ball ended
Michael
up out.
Jasinski. He did not fumble that I saw. Did he get back on top of it?
I think the ground caused it, Joe, and that's why. But Finland was on top of it, but they do move this chain, so that'll be a first down.
And that's a big first down as we close in on halftime, and we don't know exactly how much time is remaining. We do not have access to the venue clock, but Dave, I'd have to think we are closing in on halftime.
Yeah, and I don't know if that last whistle was a 2-minute warning. I don't think it is. I credited that timeout to Finland, as there's a 2-yard loss on first down. But
Jasinski wrapped up by Konta Hatela.
Yeah, because after that whistle, the camera panned in. We didn't get to see the officials, but I think this is the 2-minute warning, Joe, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, so with 2 minutes to go in this first half, Poland has it driving deep in Finland territory, and whether they score a touchdown or a field goal in this spot, Poland can make it a 2-possession game with that score, already in front 13-7.
Yeah, and this is a big moment in the game because obviously you're bearing down on the half. Poland would love to go in with, more than a one-score lead here, and if you're Finland, you'd love to get a stop, especially since you kind of gifted the field position part, and even if they can hold them to a field goal attempt here, that would be clutch. The ball's sitting at the 31-yard line, so this would be a 48-yard field goal from here. You don't know if Poland is comfortable enough. They would most certainly attempt it, but I'm sure they'd love to get another 10, 15 yards here before they even attempt a field goal to end the half.
Poland offense back out there. Second down and long. Once again, it is a handoff to Jasinski, and once again, he is brought down behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and that's not going to be it, right? I mean, if they're looking for just some easy yards to set up for a field goal right before half, just not going to do. And now it's third down and long. There is a timeout officially on the field due to injury, so that stops the clock.
When play resumes, it's going to be a third down and about 15, and you're at a spot on the field, Dave, where a field goal is far from a sure thing. If you pick up enough to kick it, at that point, do you go for it? He's hit from 42. I think if you can pick up most of this, you probably kick it and go up two scores. Sure. But at what point are you comfortable trying the field goal? Are you comfortable from here around the 33? Because that 42-yarder kicked earlier would have been good from 50.
Yeah, I think it would have too. It would have had, I think, just enough from 50. So, like I said before, I don't think you're confident kicking from here. I think you'd love to get another 10 yards here, make it a 4th and 2, 4th and 3, and then I would kick in that scenario. I want to get points here. Finland gave me the ball back. Finland gave me the ball here. I want to cash. I want to get something, a return on that. So I'm taking the points, the 3. And, even if you do pick up a first down by going for it on 4th, you only have a handful of seconds left anyway. So then you're rushing. You're maybe trying to force something downfield. Might ask for trouble there. I don't know. I'm a very conservative guy by nature, Joe, when it comes to play calling. So I would kick the field goal here. But if I'm Poland, I definitely want 5, 7, 10 yards here on this play.
No question about it. I always look at the game as how many possessions are you leading by, and I think you need to go up 2 scores here if you think you can. It's going to be a throw on 3rd and long by Chosky. Short completion in the flat, and once again, Hatela all over it as he brings down Jasinski for a very short gain.
Yeah, and that time the Finland defense did a really nice job of just, playing in a softer zone. Bajkowski was looking. We do have an official timeout here. Again, at least that was the indication.
I would suspect that Finland called timeout, but that's just an assumption based on where we are in this first half. I will say, though, our camera operator has done a phenomenal job in this game.
Yeah, I agree. And we'll have to see where... Oh, we just had the PA announce how much time there was in the first half. I just missed it. That's why I haven't been really saying much. I'm trying to listen in. But let's see. They are going to kick, it looks like, Joe. And this will be, they're going to set up right at the 40, so it's going to be a 50-yard try here. We know it can be done, that's for sure. Let's just see if they can get enough leg into this one.
Yeah, I'm not sure they gained anything on that last completion, Dave.
No. In fact, they might have lost a yard.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. Long field goal for Chirkot. He's been perfect in this game, and the kick is just short.
Yeah, and he didn't miss it by much, just a couple of yards, Joe. And how big were those tackles on second and third down to keep them from getting back to the original line of scrimmage? If they make the original line of scrimmage, that's in. That's 3 points. But instead, a good hold by Finland. Maybe the play calling a little bit too conservative by Poland there, but they give the ball back to Finland with precious seconds left on the clock here in the first half. We know Finland can utilize the deep ball here. That's the way they scored their 7 points. So if you're Poland, you have to be very careful here not to let Finland take the top off the ball.
I think the way that Poland has run the ball in this first half, they assumed they could do so again to get into field goal range, and Finland had other plans. Peltokangas throwing for the sideline, and the timing just a bit off there with his wideout Raitanen.
Yeah, and again, I make the point that these teams have only been announced within the last few days, and so they haven't had a lot of time together. And those plays right there, those 10-yard and outs, those 7 yards and outs, they need trust, Joe. They need time. They need repetition. And right now, these teams don't have that. That's why you see a lot of periphery play and a lot of running game, obviously, early in these tournaments, because you just don't have that rapport yet, and it showed on that play.
Trips to the right of the formation. Second down throw coming. Peltakongas downfield, and a lot of contact. We'll see which way this one goes, because it looked like
it's going to be on the
Tuominen ran over the defender.
Yeah, but it looks like it's going to be on the defender, Joe, because Tuominen is just trying to run to a spot, and he just ran into a player. And as a defender, you have to know where you are on the field. You have to be responsible there, and you can't impede the receiver's progress. And as unfair as that is, they're going to pick it up. So strike all that, Joe. I didn't mean any of it.
Yeah, I think that's a good no call.
Yeah.
Personally.
Incidental contact.
Yeah, I think that the defender did have his eyes on the football, and in the process of eyeing the football in flight, Tuominen just sort of ran him over. I think that's a good no call.
Yeah, so 3rd down and 10, and now if you're Finland, you have to be very careful because you don't want to give the ball back. Remember the last time they tried to punt, what happened as well. So this is an interesting play and an interesting dial-up. I wonder if they'll just run the ball here to force Poland to call another timeout. But before that, we'll have a timeout called by Poland with the clock already stopped. So that...
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
depending on how much time is left.
Right, or really depending on what they've seen, too. And if they were not comfortable with the way Finland was lining up or what they were calling, they want to re-emphasize what they're doing on defense here and make sure they can get off the field on this next play.
And I think if there wasn't that coverage breakdown leading to the Finland touchdown earlier, we would have been less likely to see a timeout there. But I think given the breakdown on that play, you'd like to talk it over in this spot. However, saying that, of course, if there is enough time to maybe put 3 points on the board before halftime, or even to force a Finland special teams miscue as they have already in this game, you'd like to preserve that timeout and get as much of an opportunity with the football one final time as you can.
Yeah. The only thing that gives you pause is if Poland was out of timeouts. But to my knowledge, they still have one left. So that will allow them to stop the clock here if this is a run play or if Finland decides to just let the clock run.
And that pass is tipped and incomplete. Very fortunate for Finland there that Poland did not have more bodies around the football, as that one hung up there for what seemed like an eternity.
Yeah, and what a good fundamentally sound play by Finland there. The defenders, they're staying true to their lanes. They're not all going, towards the right side. They didn't bite on the fake. And then the defensive linemen getting their hands up. That's just something that comes from muscle memory and something you're taught when you're a child. And it results in a play like that. And now Finland has to punt again, and these have been a little adventurous.
Definitely do not tune away until there are zeros on the clock in this second quarter. We've already seen a botched snap on a Finland punt earlier in this game, and Finland will call timeout to talk about it a bit.
Yes, they have. So by our count, that is their second timeout called as well of this half. So they have one left.
Well, I think if you are Finland here, depending on how much time is left, you consider max protecting. That could come back to burn you depending on how the coverage plays out. But I think you're in a situation where you have to make sure first and foremost that you get this kick away. We haven't seen Poland able to throw downfield much in this game. In fact, I'm not sure if they have a completion more than a couple of yards past the line of scrimmage in the air.
Yeah, it's a good point. And, you wonder, too, Joe, if there's only time for one last play here. And maybe that's why head coach J.P. Kuusisto calls this timeout. Maybe they just hang one up there high. But doesn't look like that's the case. But definitely want to protect this play here and make sure, A, they get it off, and then they have to get the downfield coverage in order.
Good snap, a bit of a bobble, and that was very nearly blocked. And it's a short punt. It does take a Finland bounce. It is scooped up. at the last moment there, and very nearly a bit of a dangerous moment for Kasper Czarzuski.
Yeah, and if I'm head coach TJ Richardson, I'm almost like, oh my goodness, do I like what my guy just did there? Do I like what he's thinking, or could that have been really dangerous? And high risk, high reward again. But Poland does have some seconds left here, and we'll see what they dial up. If the camera pans back enough, we might catch the scoreboard, but that doesn't look like it's happening.
It looks like for a moment they were setting up to potentially kneel there, but they back into a shotgun look. And they will look to throw. Wachowski has time. He has a clean pocket. That time running out, and he is going to be stood up. I don't know if that will officially go down as a sack, but either way, no pass attempt coming on that play.
Well, he got past the line of scrimmage, and that's the end of the first half, I believe here, Joe.
And that indeed was the final play of the first half. Our score at halftime, Poland over Finland, 13-7. Dave, before the teams head to the locker room, final thoughts and takeaways from the first half.
Well, it didn't go the way I thought it would as far as the score is concerned. But, we didn't know a lot about Team Poland coming in. And so they have impressed me, Joe, a lot, especially with their style and their fundamental type game. And then, of course, the turnovers, Joe. We say it during pregame of every single game we cover, whether it's Little League, whether it's arena football, women's football, professional football. Turnovers and penalties will absolutely make the difference in games. When you add into that, you sprinkle a special teams, a special teams mistake or a great special teams play. That's the recipe, and I think the score is where it should be. Poland has played well enough to have a full one-score lead in this game. Finland has really had one huge dynamic offensive play, and listen, it is Finland after all. They do put points on the board. And we have a good game, and we have a game, Joe, that whichever team plays the better second half, I believe, is going to win this game.
Certainly plenty to look forward to in the second half. When we come back, Finland will receive the second half kickoff. This is PDF Sports Network coverage of U19 European Tournament IFAF football. Group C, opening round. Finland trails Poland 13-7 at halftime.
Refined, restorative, results-driven. At CMX iMed Bar, we blend medicine, aesthetics, and wellness into one luxury experience, led by Dr. Angela Roque. Located in the heart of Pier Village, Long Branch. Visit cmximedbar.com or text 9089232694 to look better, feel better, live elevated.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. The same way you plan each detail for those moments. Start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
No, I'm right. The podcast that uncovers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Nick Durst here along with Joe Calabrese.
Here we are, 200 episodes later, about 150 episodes with guests, our friends, soon to be your friends.
Well, it's pretty clear, Joe, that it's all about You Know I'm Right, the podcast. That's my You Know I'm Right moment. Wanted to do a podcast, and everyone was like, what are you, crazy? Who's going to listen? You're not going to get guests. Well, guess what? I'm the best when it comes to getting guests. If you could vouch for that.
I am so happy that you asked me to do this. I couldn't have been more thrilled. And follow us on socials, check us out. I promise you, if you want to work in media, whether you work in media now, whether you want to quit your job and work in media, come to us, and I promise you, we will get you on the right foot.
That's what it's all about, uncovering the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Keep it locked on You Know I'm Right.
This fall, NSC Apparel has you covered. We have top quality uniforms with unlimited customization and great pricing. The Supersonic uniform has pro-level fabrics and embroidery, and the Sonic Speed uniform lends itself perfectly for full-body designs. We also offer fan jerseys for the perfect fundraiser. Let us make you the best-dressed team on the field this fall. NSC Apparel, official uniform provider of the Bearcats and the AAL too.
Great having you.
Incredible women.
I wish they had those kind of cool careers for women when we were growing up.
So in this flashback, we're all the same age?
Yeah.
What does everyone want to be when they grow up?
If I say 2 jobs, do I get extra credit?
No.
I want to make immersive video games. I want to revolutionize 3D printing. I want to analyze data from the cloud.
I want to be a meteor.
You mean meteorologist?
No.
That's great, Al. Follow your dreams.
For the record, I was a baby in the 70s.
Attention, local businesses and professionals. Isn't it time to elevate your game? Now you can advertise your business or product on PDF Sports Network. Your ad will appear on all of our broadcasts, including this one. Don't have a commercial? We'll make one for you, absolutely free. What better way to showcase your product and brand while supporting the best local sports, teams, and leagues? Call now at 732-723-8189 or visit us at pdfsportsnet.com.
And we are back here on the PDF Sports Network. Joe Foreman rejoining you alongside David Pizzuto in our coverage of the IFAF U19 European Tournament. In this Group C opening round matchup, Poland leads Finland at halftime by a score of 13-7. And Dave, you mentioned the rankings of these teams coming in. Poland came in ranked number 10, Finland number 3 in this tournament. However, that is not how things have played out so far. Poland, the underdog in terms of ranking, making their first appearance in this event. They have a 6-point halftime lead over Finland, and a big part of that have been the Finnish turnovers in that first half. We saw plenty of turnovers, but I think the key turnovers in this game and the key miscues mostly came on the side of Finland. Going into the halftime break, you gave us some of your takeaways from the first half. What adjustments are you looking for from these two teams entering the second half?
Well, yeah, I think for Finland, it's about establishing some type of continuity. I'd like to see them run the football a little bit more offensively. I think they need to, control the line of scrimmage. And I think really both teams need to do that. I think whichever team does that better in the second half is likely going to win this game. If you can get the push offensively at the line and run the football consistently, you're going to have success. And then they did flash the deep ball, and they had that one completion that resulted in the 7 points that they have on the board. So now you put that seed of doubt in Poland's mind, saying, look, they have this in their back pocket. So we have to respect it. And when you have to respect something, it leads you to do some better things. So, and if you're Finland, listen, if you're head coach Kuusisto in your locker room, you're saying, look, guys, we had 2 turnovers in that half, and they were both self-inflicted, turnovers. Even the second one where there was the strip on the fumble, that's a play where you just got to get your arms across the ball and live to see another down. And we gave Poland great field position. We gave them a couple of turnovers, like I mentioned. And then we also hurt ourselves with penalties. And if Finland can play a clean second half, they should feel okay only being down by 6. And as for Poland, listen, they came in with the element of surprise. I know you mentioned the rankings, Joe, but really, how much do we truly know about these teams going in? They're ranked 10th because they're new, and they're really, really impressing me right now. Defensively, they're staying fundamentally sound. They're staying true to their area of the field. They're not overcommitting to the run. They're not overcommitting to the pass, and they have been able to run the football. Now, Finland was able to solve that a little bit, but I think they got to get back to just right down the heart of this Finland defense. A-gap, B-gap runs, establish your 4 and 5 yards at a time. You haven't proven that you can go down the field yet with the passing game, so you're going to need that run as a crutch. And I think Poland is going to have to score more points to win this game. So right now they've shown that they can do that, and they have a phenomenal kicker. And unfortunately, he went 2 for 3 and missed that one, but that 50-yarder didn't miss by much either.
No, Chircott came up just short on that kick, and we mentioned some of your takeaways from the first half before break. Looking back at that first half, I think first and foremost what really stood out to me is how Poland played up front on both sides of the ball. They were able to run it, as you've said many times already, and defensively they did a pretty good job of slowing down the run game of Finland for almost the entirety of that first half. I think you have to like what you've done at the line of scrimmage if you're Poland, and I think many would say that games are won and lost at the line of scrimmage. That being said, shifting our focus over to Finland, they have shown something in this game that Poland has not, and that's a willingness to throw downfield. And I think a well-balanced offense does begin with the ground game. However, that needs to be balanced with a willingness to throw downfield. Whether or not you're willing doesn't have much of an impact on whether or not you are successful. However, that big completion on 3rd and long, that one successful play that got Finland on the scoreboard does more than just putting 6 points up on the board. It lets the defense know that not only are you willing to throw downfield, you are capable of throwing downfield, capable of connecting on those deep balls, and I think you can open up some lanes in the ground game that way. So if you're Finland, you certainly have to run the ball a bit better, but I think it does put you ahead of Poland in one respect, given the fact that you've been able to complete a big play downfield, that play going for 6 points.
Yeah, 100%, Joe. I think that they've shown their hand a little bit more than what Poland did. I think in the first half we saw more dynamism, I guess you could say, from Finland, regarding the eclectic nature of their play calling. But Poland has 13 points on the board for a reason, because they had short fields, they have a dynamic kicker, and they scored when they had the ball 1st and goal at the 1. They were able to just pound the rock and score a walk-in touchdown. So Poland is checking the boxes that they need to check. Finland just has to really clean up their game, and they're going to have to come from behind to win this game. So I think both teams should feel good enough coming into halftime, good enough about their chances in the second half to come out of here 1-0. And Joe, in this tournament, you lose one of your group games, I think you're done as far as your chances at medaling. I mean, this is especially here in Group C, because the 2 winners of this game, they're going to play in September. And the 2 losing teams from Germany, Hungary, and this game are going to play in September. So the best you can do from here on out is finish 1-1. But the group winner is going to be the one that's tabbed for that gold medal game potentially. So you have to win this game if you really want to win the European Championship. That's my take on it anyway. And maybe mathematically that's not the case, but it's a enormous second half coming up.
Yeah, and a big point you made regarding what Finland needs to do is clean things up. And we've mentioned already a pair of fumbles, one coming on a backwards pass, another coming on a drive that seemed ticketed for some points. But they also had the miscue on special teams, on the punt. And that set up Poland in great field position. So you clean up some of those mistakes, you put yourself in a good position. If you're Poland, I think you have to be happy with where you are for sure. I think the biggest adjustment they need to make is trying to find some balance on the offensive side of the ball. I think the ground game has helped them in terms of possession time. Their defense has generated turnovers. Their special teams unit has come through with what effectively is a takeaway on downs with the punt. Whether or not that was generated up front by Poland on special teams or was simply a miscue by Finland, you'd have to go back to the replay and see, but the result is what matters. And I think you said it. Poland, when they've been given the opportunity in good field position, they've made something of it. I think Finland could really benefit from one big takeaway. They do have the forced fumble, but I think the number one thing they need to do is take care of the football and clean things up, as you said, Dave. If Finland can do that, they should be okay, but it's no easy task to put points up on the board the way the Polish defense has been playing thus far, and I think that's something that we should expect to see continue in the second half, because outside of one play, Poland generally played mistake-free on that side of the ball. However, their one big mistake was a very costly one. It cost them 7 points.
Yeah, no, 100%, Joe. And I think we've definitely said, and we've painted a great picture of what needs to happen here in the second half. Joe, before we throw it to maybe another break, before we come back for the second half, I know we flashed this during the pregame, but let's take a look at today's schedule. You know, this is one of 3 games that are going on in the IFAF U19 tournament. Austria and Spain. Austria, as we mentioned, the 8-time defending champs. They are going on the road and playing Spain today. That game should have already started. It started about an hour after this game, so they probably just in the opening moments of that one. That's one game. And then Germany and Hungary play at 5 p.m. In Hungary, so that's about an hour or two from now in Europe. Germany comes in as the higher of the 2 seeds there, but they have to travel on the road to play Hungary there. And then, Joe, you notice the Israel and Sweden result and the forfeit. Sweden is competing in this tournament, Joe, but because of some funding problems that they had, they could not travel to Israel to make that game. So Israel was awarded an automatic win in that game. That's why you see it. But Sweden, the defending silver medalists in this tournament, have to start in their group 0-1. It makes their game against Italy, which will be at home later in this tournament, a must win for them. And then they'll have to hope that Italy can knock off Israel and give them a loss as well. So there's a lot of different things that are developing, and then there'll be more games in May, and then there'll be games in September. And like we mentioned, winner versus winner in Group C in September, and then loser versus loser in Group C in September as well.
And we certainly hope to be a part of that coverage in some way, shape, or form. Meanwhile, here in Finland, they are closing in on the start of the second half in this Group C matchup between Poland and Finland. So what we will do is step aside and take one final break before the start of the second half. It is Poland over Finland at halftime, 13-7 our score. We'll be right back with the second half kickoff.
Attention, local businesses and professionals. Isn't it time to elevate your game? Now you can advertise your business or product on PDF Sports Network. Your ad will appear on all of our broadcasts, including this one. Don't have a commercial? We'll make one for you, absolutely free. What better way to showcase your product and brand while supporting the best local sports, teams, and leagues? Call now at 732-723-8189 or visit us at pdfsportsnet.com.
And we are back here on the PDF Sports Network as they are getting set to begin the second half in Finland. Our score at halftime, Poland leading Finland 13-7 in this IFAF U19 European Tournament opening round matchup out of Group C. And as we mentioned before halftime, it will be Finland receiving the second half kickoff. They trail this game by 6. Poland did have the opportunity to make it a 2-score game with a field goal attempt from about 50 yards out late in the first half, but we mentioned it at the time, Dave. The series of play calls leading up to that field goal did not yield Poland any yards. In fact, they moved backwards, and ultimately that was the difference between a kick that came up just short and what would have been a field goal to make it a 9-point lead.
Yeah, and 10 of Finland's 13 points are off of turnovers for Finland. So, that one would have been another 3, but they went -6 yards on that drive, Joe. And, if they had those 6 yards back, they would have gotten that field goal. It would have been 16-7, and they would have had 13 points off turnover. Instead, they only take a 6-point lead into the locker room, and I'm so excited to see what both of these teams did at the half. Now that they've seen each other for 2 quarters, what adjustments have they made? We'll find out starting now.
Should be fun to watch as Poland will send it deep to begin the third quarter from Finland. That one received at about the 5-yard line, and attempting to reverse field is Raitanen. He's across the 20, across the 30. A flag is down as Raitanen is forced out of bounds shy of the 40-yard line. But Dave, this one might be coming back. 2 flags on the field.
Yeah, and Joe, that's the danger when you start running east and west on kickoffs. I mean, it's almost like, if I had a buck for every time I saw a penalty, every time players went east and west on kickoffs, I'd have a good deal of money with all the football we watch. Even on the professional level, Joe, when you see that happening, you're almost expecting to see yellow on the field, and we got it there. And again, Finland is going to have to start from inside their own red zone. It might even be, depending where this happened and where on the run it happened, they might be inside their own 10 here.
Offsetting penalties. Yeah. A face mask was called against Poland as well, in addition to the hold on Finland. So the offsetting penalties, I would presume a re-kick for sure. And both special teams units will get back out there on the field. So a do-over with 10 seconds having come off the clock on that first kickoff attempt. This is Joe Foreman on the call alongside David Pizzuto. I'm calling this game from Naples, Florida. Dave up in South River, New Jersey. And we welcome in one of our largest live audiences in the history of the PDF Sports Network. We've only crossed the 1,000 live concurrent view mark, I believe, 1 or 2 other times. I think we've done it twice.
Yep, and we owe it to the nations of Poland and Finland for being a huge audience for us this morning/afternoon, and we thank you all for tuning in with us. We're enjoying the game just like you are watching it. 2 great youth organizations and countries really showing out here in their kickoff to the IFAF U19 tournament.
This matchup has certainly delivered to this point, as once again it looked like Raitanen was about to reverse field. Instead, he puts the brakes on and accelerates across the 30-yard line.
Well, he's got a good nose for where the holes are, Joe, but again, when he was moving east and west, I was thinking, look at that. It's on the field. We had another flag.
That one just outside the frame of the camera angle, and I think they're going to call
blocking
an illegal block in the back, indeed. So once again, Finland will back up as the result of a penalty, and this drive is going to begin deep in their own territory. And I think this makes the 3rd drive of the game for Finland that has gotten started inside of their own 20.
Yeah, it's going to start at the 14-yard line, so we get a good look at it from the sticks at the top of your screen. And yeah, this is tough. You have to go 86 yards now, and if you're Finland, I think you have to get back to basics and be methodical in what you're doing. 4 and 5 yards at a time, and just take the air out of this game, if you would.
And it's going to be a first down handoff up the middle. Broken tackle on that run by Siren. He stumbled over a tackler and was able to pick up a nice gain on first down.
Yeah, and we've seen this a lot from Finland. Good running on first down. It's happened routinely. So I think if you're Finland, you have to stick to it. You have to stay disciplined here. I know, Joe, on 2nd and 3, it's so tempting to want to throw the football. It really is. I would want to too, as a fan. But I think you have to stay with the run game here. I think you have to get Poland to overcommit to the run before you start throwing again.
It's a quick pass to the sideline, complete for a first down and much more. Tiptoeing the sideline there, Liro Ermola. He just turned 19 earlier in the week, and he has a nice gain on that second down reception.
Yeah, nice play. Very high percentage passing play here on this one. And then you expect Amerla to just make, a move or two and get himself in position to get the first down. He does a lot more than that. And give credit to the blocking downfield too, Joe. You had a hat on a hat, a white hat on a red hat the entire way. And now they get some good breathing room here outside their 30.
That's one way to get out of the shadow of your own goalposts, as the first down handoff will go nowhere. That one's stuffed by Poland up front. We've said that many times in this game. Runs up the middle have not gone for much, as we have an injured player down on the field.
Yeah, and that time, again, Poland showing themselves in the box as well. They have the 4 down linemen, but then they immediately send the linebackers up for extra help there, right in that A gap to plug things up. And that really is nowhere for the ball carrier to go on a play like that. And now on 2nd and 10, it's a lot harder to stay committed to the run here. You'd almost think that this needs to be a throwing play.
Finland breaks huddle following the injury on the field for Poland. That was Simon Krolik, who is jogging off under his own power. That's good to see. It's going to be a 2nd and long here for Finland. As you said, Dave, you'd expect this to be a passing situation, and you have to watch out for that screen with trips to the right side of the formation.
Yep. You can see the cushion at the top of your screen, too.
Could always fake the screen, as they do indeed. Throw a screen pass, and again, it's well blocked, and again, it picks up a first down.
Well, again, Joe, I know I said you should stay committed to the run, but when you look at the coverage at the top of your screen, look at where the defensive back is and look at where the wide receiver is. Even at the bottom of your screen on this replay, the 2 wideouts are getting about 15 or 20 yards of cushion. And I get it if it's a 3rd down and 25, but what you're doing is you're just allowing this pretty easily to pick up a first down.
Linebacker Tomasz Brombosch was put in an impossible position there. It looked like he was assigned to the wideout, as they'll throw another screen on the near side. This is well blocked, and this will pick up a chunk of yardage. Finland across midfield and into Polish territory at about the 37-yard line.
Death by screen, Joe. I mean, this is exactly what's happening here. Poland is giving them a lot of cushion, and Finland is taking advantage of it. And then again, I say, you look at the downfield blocking as well. That has to be there. For these plays to work, that has to be pure. And Finland is getting a hat on a hat. They're accounting for some good blocking downfield. And just like that, they've overturned the field, and they're on Poland's 37-yard line.
It's another, at least I thought, another throw. Instead, it's going to be kept by Peltokangas. He picks up a nice gain on the ground, and now the Finland offense has plenty of momentum as they head down toward the red zone.
Yeah, I don't think they're moving the sticks. They might be just a bit short on this one, and so it'll be 2nd down and 1 coming up. But again, as an offense, you want to keep the defense off balance, and I think that's exactly what Finland is doing so far on this drive, Joe. A good little mix of run and pass, and they're keeping the Team Poland guessing, right? Poland doesn't know what's coming on this play, that's for sure, because Finland has already showed them 3 and 4 different looks on this drive.
Well, that was a look we haven't seen much in this game. It was a very heavy look at the line of scrimmage on that run by Peltokangas, and now he will swing it out to the flat. It is complete. Nice move there by Maxim Kurilla, and Kurilla does pick up the first down and some more there as he is tackled at the 20.
Joe, again, great play and a great move by Kurilla to get rid of that first defender. But, Joe, here's what I will say. At the end of this play, if you're Kurilla, both hands on the ball. Poland is looking to get this ball out towards the later stages of this replay, and you can see he's just extending with the ball in his hand. You got to get that left arm on top of that ball because, this Poland team is going to be ready if you fumble that football. And, when you've already fumbled the ball twice in this game, albeit only once with a ball carrier, don't fall into that trap again. Cover up that ball.
No question. You have to protect it. The big play in the first half came down the field. Now Finland working sideline to sideline. Poland has not had an answer. Peltokangas running out of time, throws toward the end zone, and he is picked off. That ball intercepted in the back corner of the end zone.
Just an ill-advised throw, Joe. There's nothing else you could say about it. Peltakongas, you could just tell from his body language, there's nothing there. Throw that ball out of bounds. You've achieved exiting the pocket. You're outside the tackles. You just throw that ball out of bounds. He threw that into quadruple and quintuple coverage there. 2 blue jerseys and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Polish players there. It's just inexcusable. That is a bad mistake by Finland on that play. Can't happen.
Franciszek Durai in the back corner of the end zone, picking that one off. And Poland will take over just inside of their own 20, make it the 20-yard line on the touchback. And they will attempt a reverse here, and I think they caught Finland a bit off guard. 1 tackle broken, and a nice gain there off the move by Jakob Sema.
Well, we talked about what are the teams doing in the locker room, right, Joe? What are they dialing up? What adjustments are they making? And a little bit of trickery here from Team Poland here to start the second half. And they run the reverse. It gets them about 8 or 9 yards, as we'll see the replay real quick before they attempt this next play.
Poland lined up in the gun, 2 receivers to the right side of the formation. It will be a handoff. And bouncing this one outside toward the sideline is Zaremski, and Zaremski is across the 40 before he is forced out of bounds.
Yeah, it took Zaremski a little time to gain that edge, but that he did. Nice little bit of stiff arming there on the way towards the first down, but makes the play. Poland moves the sticks. They get out of the shadows of their own red zone and are able to extend.
Once again, Poland to the line quickly. We saw that plenty in the first half. And they were efficient in this hurry-up offense. 3 receivers on the field as I look toward the sideline here. We'll slow things down just a bit. Wojciechowski giving signals toward his receivers on the far side. And he will look to throw. Wojciechowski in trouble, and down he goes. In for the sack, Timi Ikonen.
Yeah, and that time that was a jailbreak. You know, Ikonen gets credit for the sack here, but you could see how the defensive linemen shed their blocks here, and they are immediately on top of the quarterback. Wojciechowski is just very little he could do on a play like this, and it's going to bring up a second down and very long.
Make it a second down and about 15 yards here. Once again, Poland in the gun. And it will be a handoff. Zaremski breaks 1 tackle behind the line and is stood up maybe a yard past the line of scrimmage, perhaps 2. And that will bring up a 3rd and long.
And there is a flag down as well, Joe, so we'll have to see what the result of this one is. And you're wondering if this is against Poland, will Finland take the result of the play, which would bring up about a 3rd and 13 coming up, or will they back them up even further? It's an unsportsmanlike conduct after the play.
It is a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Did you pick up the number?
I did not.
Player? Okay.
I did not.
It is his first of the game.
Okay, and it's going to be a 3rd down and 28, Joe, so pretty well.
It will be a throw, and it will have to come quickly. Wojciechowski flips it toward the sideline out of bounds, and that was the right decision there with pressure closing in from behind.
Yeah, I know, like, if you're a fan of Team Poland, that's maybe a frustrating play, but he did the right thing. You said it, Joe. Wojciechowski, understanding he doesn't have any options there, just flip that out of bounds. You know, get the punt off here. You were gifted this possession anyway, and you were able to, move the ball up, whatever it is, 12 yards, 10 yards. You did what you had to do here. And now with, about 5.5 minutes to go in this quarter, you're going to give the ball back to Finland. But they gifted you that drive, so don't do anything careless with the football.
Poland set to punt from just outside of their own red zone. A bit of a high snap and a low line drive kick. It lands just short of the Finland 40, played on a bounce, and skipping out of bounds is Kasari on the short run back.
So, listen, Joe, if you're Team Finland, you absolutely love what happened on the last drive, offensively and defensively. except for that last play on offense, and I think that that's something to grow on. I think that, Peltakongas, he's 18 years old, and, I think that he just learned a valuable lesson on that last drive. If I don't have something, my offense is like, shaving yards, back and forth against Poland. Why would I do that? Don't do that again. And now, based on what they did in the previous drive, they should feel good on this drive here, even though they have to reset on their side of the field.
Pistol look from Finland on first down. They will hand off, and this run is stuffed. 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. 3 Polish defenders in there to make a tackle, and it looks like Maxim Kurilla is unable to get up.
Well, one thing that I said, Joe, and we hope that Kurilla's okay, one thing that I said in the first half was that Poland gets hats to the ball. I mean, that's one thing you notice with this defense. And if there's something, if there's a counter type of play or if there's a misdirection kind of play, I think this Poland defense could be had, Joe. But that time, they didn't go with the fake, right? Instead, they stayed with the run, and as a result, all hats to the ball. Poland was not faked at all, and there you go. You have a 4 or 5 yard loss there on first down. So you almost think, Joe, if Finland would have completed the fake on that play, if they would not have given the ball to Kurilla and looked out in the flat, they might have had a big gain.
And I think you have to remember, too, something we've mentioned more than once already, Dave, the age of these players. You have to be impressed with the level of football we've seen from players between the ages of 16 and 19.
Yeah.
As that is complete to the sideline, it's going to be a short gain. Not enough for a first down. As Ermola will make that. Urtica was swung backwards.
Yeah.
Both were involved.
Yeah, was trying to get back to the original line of scrimmage, but couldn't do it. So we're going to have a 3rd down and 11 coming up here, Joe. And, yeah, getting back to your point, this is essentially, high school age football, Joe. And we cover high school in the United States, Old Bridge. And we've seen Old Bridge play some very, very good teams as well here in the New Jersey area. This will be more like a 3rd and 13, but yeah, this is really good quality football from this young group. Again, and they were just assembled.
It's going to be a 3rd down pass attempt. Pressure coming. Peltakongas found a lane, but not nearly enough yardage on that carry to pick up a first down.
Yeah, so he'll be about 8 yards short of the first, and Finland will bring out the punting unit and go 3 and out here, but this has become a field position game now, Joe, and they're going to be punting this ball from about their own 40 or so, their own 40, yeah. So they should be able to reverse the field well here on Poland, continue to play well defensively, and try to win the field possession game here. Unfortunately, that first down really derailed this drive, but on 4th and 7, I think it's wise here to punt the football.
Well, we said it at halftime, Dave. Finland needed to run it a bit more as the snap on the punt came in a bit slowly. The kick will land at about the 30. It takes a Finland bounce as it rolls inside the 20. But as we said at halftime, Dave, Finland needed to run it a bit more, become a little more balanced on the offensive side, and they needed to clean things up in terms of the turnovers. They got the ground game going on the first drive of this 3rd quarter and then promptly ended that drive with a turnover. As you said, the one play on that drive you're unhappy with. Meanwhile, on the other side, if you're Poland, they've done well in this 3rd quarter what they did well in the first half. They've won the battle at the line of scrimmage for the most part. I think a lot of what Finland was able to do on their drive was working that screen game out on the perimeter. I think at the line of scrimmage, Poland is continuing to get bodies to the football, as you've said. They've continued to play well defensively. Now they need to try and put a drive together.
Yeah, and Joe, we should mention we lost audio of our feed here from Finland. We still have video, but we've lost audio. And so we're not hearing any of the stadium audio, but I think we had a penalty on that against Poland, and that gives them Team Finland a 4th and 2 from the 50-yard line, and they are going for it.
So a massive turn here as Finland will come to the line of scrimmage. Bunch formation out of the shotgun. Peltakongas moving to his right, has running room, and has a first down.
Oh, yeah. It didn't look like it at first. It looked like Poland was getting back there and staying committed to the lanes. But Peltakongas saw the opening, was very patient with the run, and managed to turn that into a first down. So first down, Finland, they moved the sticks. A very costly penalty by Poland there on 4th and 7, made it a 4th and 2 instead, and they paid the price.
And that penalty occurred outside the range of the camera feed. So you'd have to assume it was a roughing penalty of some kind, or maybe a hold to move it 10 yards. I don't know, because that would have afforded an automatic first down. So how much did they need on fourth? I thought it was less than 15.
Well, it's 4th and 7, and it turned it into a 4th and 2.
Oh, it was an offside penalty.
Yeah.
Got it. As another screen pass goes for a nice gain. And out across midfield on the reception is Urtica.
Yeah, and again, Finland going back to some of the things that worked on their previous drive, Joe, and you could see it working now. Again, another
flag.
Another flag and pass into the flat. It did end up in a first down, but instead it'll be called back for holding.
And I think I spotted it. So our feed that we have of the live broadcast is a bit behind the feed you and I are calling the game off of. So it gets me a chance to see each play a second time before we analyze it. And sure enough, there was a hold, I believe, in the slot receiver spot.
Yeah, and because it happened up the field, it's 10 yards from the spot of the foul. So it's a 1st and 14 here, instead of a normal 1st and 20 that you'd expect. We are in the third quarter here. We've lost our audio signal from Finland, but we're still hanging on here.
And this throw downfield into coverage is broken up. Durai almost had a chance for another interception, but Irmola turned into a defender trying to go up over the top and snag that one.
Yeah, and you just don't know if these balls are getting thrown late, Joe, because it looks like it's just a jump ball. You're just putting it into a space where your wide receiver is already there, and so is the defensive back. There's got to be just a little bit more timing here, and maybe it was because of that pump fake there in the backfield that led to the delay there in that throw going down the field. But it was essentially a jump ball, and Finland actually catches a break by that being incomplete.
Well, that ball had a lot of hang time as well. And when that happens, it gives more defenders the opportunity to get there and disrupt a potential completion. 2nd and 14 now. Spread shotgun set. 4 receivers wide. And Peltokangas will keep it on the quarterback draw. He broke 1 tackle, but is taken down by 2 more Polish defenders. That will be a loss of a yard, and will bring up 3rd and long.
Yeah, so it's going to be 3rd down and just outside of 15 there, as that will count as a 1-yard sack. And now if you're Poland, again, you have to make sure you're keeping the receivers in front of you. We know that Finland can hit you with the home run here in this position, but also that they are willing to go for it if it's 4th and short. So if you're Finland here, if you do get the 10, 12 yards on this play, you're probably in a position where you would go for it again. So keep that in mind, too. This is a big play coming up on 3rd and 15.
3rd and very long, trips to the right. Peltokangas throwing deep downfield to the left, and he overshot his target by at least 5 to 7 yards there. Poland also with double coverage in the area, and that will bring up 4th down.
Yeah, Peltokangas threw a streak, and the wide receiver ran a skinny post, it looked like, because the receiver was kind of dipping back into the hash marks, and that ball went well over his head. It looked like Peltokangas was trying to hit him on the backside, outside shoulder. Instead, the receiver was expecting it on the inside. So even though Finland's able to convert on a 4th down, they are going to punt here. As we got our audio signal back, thank you to Kepit Systems and our people on the ground in Finland.
And another punt is nearly blocked, as this kick is not going to travel very far. Given the trajectory of that ball, you'd have to wonder if maybe there were fingertips on it at some point, or perhaps the kick was just altered to avoid a potential block, as there is another flag down here. So this one could make this a 4th and a bit shorter if it goes against Poland. But I don't know if there's a situation where you go for it.
Unless it happened after the kick. It's a personal foul.
On Poland.
Yeah, but did it happen after the play?
It did.
Yeah, it's a first down for Poland. And just getting back to that punt and seeing if it was indeed tipped, Joe, I'm running it back in slow motion so our folks at home can take a look and see if there was some contact there. I don't think there was. I mean, we have
I don't either.
We have a very small window to see it here, but Poland, with the kick and the penalty, that ends up being about a 45-yard punt or 40-yard punt, and it puts Poland at their own 12-yard line, a half the distance call there. So this is a big few plays here for Poland. You see the time on your screen. There's only 1:41 remaining here in the third quarter. I'm sure they'd love to exhaust the quarter here and pick up a couple of first downs.
And it's a fake handoff on first down into an attempted screen pass, but Finland well aware, able to break that one up, incomplete, and that will bring up 2nd and 10.
Yeah, faked us all out, and I'm with the cameraman. I was going towards the running back as well. I didn't figure Poland to run that type of play, the misdirection there, but they're bringing out some new plays here in the second half as well, Joe. We saw a reverse on their first offensive play, and now that play as well.
Shotgun look once again on 2nd down. It's a quick toss out of the gun, and Zaremski is met by a host of tacklers at the line of scrimmage. And now you're backed up near your own end zone at about the 5 to 10 yard line range. I'd say closer to the 10. And if you're not careful here, you could end up in a situation where you're punting from your own end zone.
Yes, indeed. And, I gave them a loss of 1 on the play. It looks like that's the case. But good job by number 42, Luka Noravara. That's the 3rd or 4th time he's been in the backfield here today. And he's a pretty sure tackler back there. So the 16-year-old really doing well in this tournament.
It's a 3rd down throw, short pass complete. And again, Finland all over it. Poland going conservative there on the 3rd down play call, and you can't really blame them the way their defense has played. However, if you're Finland, you're getting yet another opportunity, very likely in good field position.
Yeah, it's a conservative call, Joe, but I actually like the call because, again, how many times do we say, you make that play and then you let Chorozewski try to make a play and get past one tackler, and then he'll pick up a first down. But that time, a good short-handed tackle by Juuso Kasari and limits the yardage gained and forces a 4th down. Will Poland have to run a play here before the end of the 3rd?
I would suspect yes, based on when that play concluded. 5 seconds remaining in the quarter. And the snap will travel through the back of the end zone. And did they scoop it up for the safety? They did. Officially, it was recovered just shy of the back pylon by Churkot. However, it's 2 points on the board for Finland, and it's now 13-9 with a safety kick upcoming.
Yeah, and Joe, again, special teams and how they rear their ugly head in games. This one ends up being 2 points the other way, and maybe that's the best result on a play like this, because obviously if that one doesn't travel out of the end zone and Finland gets on top of it, it's 6 points instead of 2. But Finland gets the ball back now, down by 4, so they're still down by a touchdown, but they'll get the ball back in good field position as well.
The officials discussing things with Finnish sideline here, but it will be Finland football on the other side of a safety kick. And we mentioned at halftime the miscues that really came back to burn Finland during that first half. They had the backwards pass that officially goes down as a fumble. They had a drive that was really moving well, and once again they fumbled. They had the issue on the snap on an early punt attempt that gave Poland great field position. And for much of this game, Poland has been able to avoid that catastrophic mistake. They did have a turnover on a fumble in the first half, but that mistake nowhere near the level of this one, as now Finland is going to have an opportunity to receive a safety kick to open the 4th quarter. And once again, this should put them in pretty good field position.
Yeah, so Finland wins the quarter, 2 points to nothing, but they're still down by a score here, a touchdown preferably, or a couple of field goals. But it's a different complexion-looking game here in this second half so far. Finland has gotten the plays that they've needed, and now they get to go back on offense with their defense having made a really, really good play there. And, of course, they get the benefits of a botched punt.
We're still awaiting the safety kick. And you look at that situation that Poland found themselves in. As I mentioned, if you're not careful on 3rd down, you're punting from right in front of your own end zone. And it turns out that is exactly what happened. And, of course, 2 points the result. The question then becomes, if you punt from there, what's the best you can expect in terms of field position? I'm thinking that the best you can expect is about the 50-yard line in that spot. And the way your defense is played, leading by 6, I think you want them to have that opportunity for sure. Looking at this safety kick, I think there's a chance that they end up getting the ball in the same exact spot. So now you put yourself in a position where a touchdown and a PAT would make it a full field goal deficit if you're Poland, as opposed now to just a 1-point deficit, maybe 2 if you gave up the touchdown.
Yeah, and we've seen Shercut on these kickoffs, Joe, and this is definitely a better situation than punting from about your own goal line. So if anything, Poland gets better field position out of the deal. Of course, it comes at the expense of 2 points.
Yeah. We'll see how things play out here. The safety kick is received just inside the 30, and a good tackle there. He was really the only line of defense. Maciej Scheffler with the tackle. And down to a knee goes Raitanen for a moment. We'll see if he needs to be helped off.
Yeah, he's been a big playmaker for Team Finland. He's going to stay on the field there, but a little shaken up. But, you know, Finland had a really, really good offensive drive to start this second half. They were thwarted by the interception in the end zone. And then, of course, they went 4 and out on their next drive, of course, hampered by a big loss on first down. And that's the thing, Joe. You know, when Finland does well on first down, they've been able to move the sticks. When they get into trouble and go backwards, they really haven't been able to climb out of some of those holes.
Once again, it's a swing pass on first down, complete into the flat for a first down. Accelerating up the sideline was Lenny Ortica, and he picks up just enough for the first down.
Ortica paid a price at the end of this play, but still well-designed, well-blocked down the field. Used some speed as a result as well to complete the play. And Finland, again, going back to that wide receiver screen, that slot receiver screen, moving the sticks now and getting themselves in really good position inside of Poland territory.
And they do mark him a yard short of the first down. It's going to be 2nd and 1. Ball at the Poland 49-yard line. It's a handoff up the middle, good for a first down. Exactly what Finland needed there, as Askulinia picks up a couple and a first down.
Yeah, and that's what I want to see from Finland on 2nd and short. I want to see them run the ball. And again, it's not to take anything away from the pass, which has really worked well in this second half. But I think if you're Poland, if you're Finland, you need to show Poland that you can push at the line of scrimmage. To me, that's paramount. In this fourth quarter, you have to win the battle at the line. And they've got the ball in good position now. They're on Poland's half of the field. Let's see if they can complete the drive.
Shotgun look, trips to the left on first down from just outside of the Poland 45. Beltakongas pump fakes, throws, downfield, he's picked off. He had a man open, but it was snatched away. Artur Kozlowitz.
4th turnover of the game for Team Finland. And again, if they end up dropping this game, that'll be the maligned part of this one. A couple of fumbles in the first half and 2 interceptions here in the second. And again, Peltokangas has time in the pocket, but if you don't have anything materializing, you're doing so well moving the football on this drive. Why put it in harm's way? And again, the receiver did have an opening. There was a window there, but it was kind of short arm. Peltokangas is moving forward in the pocket when he releases that. To me, that's just another ill-advised pass.
I think that's one you have to complete. I think he stepped up into a clean enough pocket. That's one you have to have.
Yeah.
You need to get that over the DB by my estimation. I'm getting a look at the replay right now on our delayed feed, so I'm about to see it again for the first time. Yeah, I mean, that window is there. I think worst case, you put too much air on it. There was no defender over the top to make a play on that football. There was a second defender coming from the inside, but that's a great play there by Kozlowitz to pick it off. He got up and took that one away.
Yeah.
As they'll hand off again here. And it's a short gain on the ground for Zaremski. He was fighting for some extra there at the end of that play.
Yeah, he was. And you know what Poland wants to get back to, right? Smash mouth football. Just our best guys against your best guys. Sets up a 3rd down and 5. And we'll see. This is kind of like no man's land with play calling as well. They go with nobody in the backfield here. So undoubtedly this will be either a keeper or this will be a short pass.
Trips to the right. As always, you have to watch the screen. And now it's going to be a free play. And the throw goes to the sideline. It's caught. going up to grab that one, Jakub Sema.
Yep, it was a free play like you mentioned, Joe, so I think they'll take the result of the play as they get an extra yard out of it. Pretty well defended. Sema had a body on him right from the jump, but still, that would have been a first down regardless, again, because of a penalty by Finland, and that's been another part of the game as well that they need to clean up there. You're getting penetration in the backfield. There's no need to make that jump there into the A-gap, but that's a nice delivery of the football as well by Bajczowski.
That is a big first down for Poland. Every first down going to be consequential in this fourth quarter. If you can limit Finland to one more possession, as a fan of the Polish, you'd love that. And they're punching at the football. Did it come out? It did not.
No.
Zaremski still on his feet. They blew that play dead pretty quickly.
They sure did, and I think his progress was stopped there, Joe, so that's a good call, as you always don't want to risk an injury there. But, yeah, he was still up. So we have a player down. Looks like a cramping situation. 2nd and 8 coming up.
And they will attend to the injured player here as the clock is stopped. But as I was just saying, Dave, if you're Poland, you have a very real opportunity here with just a moderately sustained drive to limit Finland to maybe one more possession in this game. That's something to keep in mind now as time ticks away in the fourth quarter. Poland lining up in the gun. 2 receivers to the right of the formation, 1 receiver wide left. And they will fake the handoff, and a quick pass is batted down. That is a great play at the line of scrimmage by Viljami Vitasari.
Yeah, Vitasari, he too, not fooled, on that underneath run. His priority, his job is the quarterback on that play, and I think the most important part of that play is it stops the clock. So now the clock becomes a factor, and now the clock is stopped. We do not know how much time is left. We'll try to pick it up via the public address when it gets mentioned every now and then to the fans in attendance, but you'd have to think we're winding towards the 7-minute mark, maybe the 6-minute mark, in that range.
Empty shotgun look this time, trips to the right. And it looked to be a designed pass play instead. Bajczowski will keep it, and he lost the football, but got back on it. Awfully close. I think he might have been down, Dave. You can probably slow that down as Poland will get set to punt.
Yeah, I will do that, Joe. And I don't know if Bajczowski wanted to run this ball, if he felt truly comfortable with that decision, but he did opt to stay on his feet, and that ball got ripped out. We'll take a look.
That's a fumble. It's a fumble, Dave. I just saw it on my second look, which is about 10 seconds behind the live stream.
And we're getting a slower look at it as well. And I agree, Joe. Yeah, that knee is not down. That was a live ball, but Poland lives to see the punt instead on 4th and 8.
Not much of a rush on that punt by Finland. And it takes a Finland bounce back across the Finland 40. And the finish will start at their own 41 on this drive. So good field position. As I'm just seeing that slow motion look now, Dave, a great look you gave us at it. Indeed, that would have been a fumble, and it was a fumble. It would have been a turnover if recovered by Finland, and rather than starting well into plus territory, they begin at their own 40.
Yeah, so it saves them 25 yards of real estate for Poland getting back on top of that football. And, if you're Finland now, it's almost that put up or shut up time. Peltokangas, when he's thrown the ball down the field over 10 yards, he has that one huge completion, but other than that, a couple of picks.
There's another nice move by Urtica. He turned what looked like it was going to be a loss into a short gain. More than a short gain, in fact. He was tackled across the 45-yard line, but a flag is down.
Yeah, and if this ends up being a holding on Finland, that's the negative of these plays, Joe, that are run at the periphery and are run as screens, is that you depend on your downfield blocking, and sometimes your wide receiver gets too engaged. It's a block in the back instead, or offensive pass interference because of probably a pick play. I don't know if I have enough of the replay to get it back. I do not.
Well, you said it, Dave. That's the danger when you run as many screens as they have. And I think when you look at this game for Peltokangas, the big plays that are going to stand out of touchdown and then the 2 critical errors. One on the end zone interception and another missing that deep ball on the last drive. He underthrew that one. If he puts a little bit more air on that, it goes for a huge completion, very possibly a touchdown.
And now it's 1st and 20. So, again, can you get the ball down the field?
Good protection there. Peltocongas throwing on the run, complete. And that is enough for a first down across midfield.
Well, there's another one that goes for a first down the field. There have been a few of those. One went for the touchdown, but that time Peltocongas was able to step into one and deliver it with enough zip to catch the receiver right at the first down marker. Well-executed play. Looks like they're just inside Poland territory and are setting up nicely here towards the latter half of this fourth quarter.
Outside of the deep ball that went for a touchdown, I think that's his best throw of the game.
I think so. Yeah, you're right, Joe.
That one got there in a hurry, and he was able to complete it on the move. This time he's going to keep, and it looks like he's going to take off and run with it. And he'll step out of bounds just across the 50. No gain on the play.
Yeah, and if that's a designed run, which I think it is, it just takes a little too long to develop, and we'll try to get another look at it as well. It just looks like Peltocongas, either he has to tuck that down immediately and make a beeline for that sideline. It just looked a little bit too lazy of a play, in my opinion, for this to work out. And we know how Poland gets to the ball. So that kid has the ball in his hands. You're going to get hats there, and it's exactly what they did.
Watching it unfold in real time, I thought he had the option to pass. Watching it a second time, that was absolutely a designed run all the way. Pre-snap motion here, and a quick swing pass is spiked into the turf, incomplete. The intended receiver, Urtica, on the play.
Yeah, so now it's 3rd down and 10, and now you need to dial up something good. Maybe it's 3rd and 9.5 officially, but it's going to be, a tough play here for Finland. And if you're Poland again, you have to be aware of everything. I don't think Finland's running the ball, although Peltocongas has, taken it down and run with it himself. But you have to look for something. The wide receiver screen is the obvious choice here, but if I'm Finland, I'm going right to that first down marker and sitting down in that zone and trying to get the hook up.
If I'm Poland, I'm making sure you keep these receivers in front of you. Peltocongas looking downfield, open man, complete. And the Polish did not keep the receivers in front of them. It's Hermanni Raitanen for the second time in this game.
And Raitanen, how he times this catch, Joe, it almost leaves your heart in your stomach, right? You're almost thinking, is it going to get there? Is he going to get there? But the closing speed that he has on this ball to meet it while it's up in the air, that's a great job by the receiver. A good ball by Peltocongas as well. Put in the only place where his receiver can come down with it, and Finland has taken the lead on another big play.
Well, Dave, I'm going to get a look once you run the replay back. They showed a too-high safety look on that play, and it almost looked as if they then moved into a man coverage look.
Finland with a late substitution.
It looked like a blown coverage, Dave. They showed too-high safety, and then the safety on that side of the field took the receiver over the middle.
Yeah, we're going to get another look at it after the extra point, which is good. That was a very important extra point, given how Poland can kick the football. And we'll take another look at this replay here to illustrate, Joe, what you were saying, and we'll slow it down a little bit so our viewers can get a chance to follow along with your explanation.
Yeah, watch the safety on the left side of the defensive formation there. It looked like a too-high safety look from Poland, and then the safety on the outside.
Yes, goes to the middle.
He came down and took the receiver over the middle, who did have a step, but that's not a mistake you can make in that spot. You can't leave your defender on the outside on an island like that. If the play was indeed a too-high safety look with zone coverage, I'd be inclined to say it was a two-man under look, given how that played out. That was certainly man coverage, and I think the safety just made a mistake there. And they had a spy on Peltocongas as well. They had one defender in the middle of the field who had his eyes on the quarterback. So big mistake there, and a lead of 3 points for Finland, as a good run back here is going to set up Poland between the 45 and 50-yard lines. Zaremski getting it done on special teams here.
Yeah.
And it's great starting field position for Poland, trailing by 3.
Yeah, he fought off that kick by, bashing the ball into the ground to stop it in front of him, then picked it up, had the wherewithal to get about 25 yards on the return. And again, Poland with their strong field goal kicking game, they only need about 25 yards here of real estate to feel comfortable about getting this game tied up.
Big question mark is how much time is left.
Right.
As that throw sails incomplete by Chosky. Had his intended target, Jaruzelski, wide open there and just missed him.
Yeah, and that's one that has to be completed. Obviously, that's a play that's there to be made, but we haven't really seen Bychowski put the ball up in the air a great distance, at least down the heart or the middle of the field, 10-plus yards. So, this is a Poland team that likes to work 5 and 6 yards at a time, and becomes important on this drive to do that.
Bychowski will throw again. It is tipped and nearly intercepted. Niemanen was there, got his hands on it, but could not make the diving grab.
Yeah, and that's the danger when you're not rolling out your quarterback either, right? He has to sit in the pocket and get that ball high past the trees up front, and that's the second time that he's had a ball that's been tipped and a chance for Finland to come under it and maybe cause a turnover there. But now on 3rd down and 10, no choice here but to get the ball down the field. It is, 4-down territory if you would, but it's a big play here on 3rd and 10.
Is it 4-down territory? That's another question. Bychowski is intercepted. It was tipped at the line of scrimmage and picked off.
Again, Joe, they got hands on the ball at the line of scrimmage. We'll slow it down as well. Finland will take over, and we'll get another look at it here. But right place, right time, hands up, snag it out of the air, and Finland with momentum have caused a turnover and are now looking to get points off.
Viljami Vitasari on the INT has completely changed this game as Finland will take over in Polish territory.
And Poland, Joe, ever since their 4th drive of the game, they had a field goal, a touchdown, a field goal on drives 2, 3, and 4, a fumble, a missed field goal, the end of the half, a punt, a botched punt safety, a punt, and an interception. So they've been stonewalled here, and here's a bad snap.
And Poland able to make contact with Peltokangas as he slid on top of that football. And Dave, there's one thing you couldn't afford in that spot. That's it. Outside of a turnover, that's the worst outcome possible.
Absolutely. I mean, the only positive is that it keeps the clock running. But you just got yourself a negative 16 on that play, I want to say. So you're looking at a 2nd down and 26 upcoming.
The Polish defense has been phenomenal in this game. And outside of 2 plays, they have really been able to slow down this Finland offense. However, the costly mistakes defensively thus far have outweighed the mistakes Finland has made on offense and special teams.
Yeah.
High snap and handoff here. It's going to be a nice gain on the ground. And if you're Finland, you are very content with that. Keep the clock running, pick up a nice chunk, and maybe give yourselves a chance to clinch this game with a 1st down.
Yeah, and I think he got about 10 on that play, so it's going to be 3rd and 13, maybe 12 on this next play up coming up. And so you have decisions here. I think this will be a wide receiver screen. I think that has proven to be the most, insured play to keep the clock running and give yourself a chance to pick up the 1st down here. But if you're Finland, you can also smell a little bit of blood in the water. So do you go up top? It's actually more like a 3rd and 16 here, so I was way off. But
keep the receivers in front of you, Dave. And they will do just that. And they will force Raitanen out of bounds. That is a big miscue right there. And that's not one that will show up on the stat sheet, Dave, but that's a mistake.
A big mistake, yeah.
Well, hold on. They're winding the clock, Dave.
Really?
They are winding the clock.
Wow, it looked like he voluntarily went out of bounds there.
He sure did.
And if I'm Poland, I don't like that at all.
Are they going to say he was bumped out of bounds? And are they going to go for this on 4th down, Dave?
It's an interesting concept here. We're getting another look at it real quick, and I'll get you back before they run the play. But that should be out of bounds. That clock should be stopped.
I agree. The signal, though, was that the clock is running, and it's going to be 4th and 8. Finland going for it, looking to throw. Peltokangas to his left. Throws, sideline complete, and the receiver is taken down short. What a play by Krolik. He was tangled up with a blocker, was able to power his way through and deny Finland 1st down yardage.
Excellent defensive play, Joe, but if you're the receiver on the play, you've just got to fall forward and get the first down. You have to know where you are on the field. And wow, I just can't believe that one, Joe. That was odd a little bit. And it's just a lack of awareness there, Joe. It's really what it is, of not knowing where you're at on the field, not knowing where you've set up. But there's no excuse for just standing there and waiting for something to happen. Just pull forward.
Bunch look for Poland, and a high throw is incomplete, but a flag comes in from two separate officials. This is going to be pass interference on a ball that looked to be well over the intended target.
Yeah, well, we'll get to see the full breadth of the play because we cut away for the replay, and the fans might not have gotten to see this one. But there's the play that just happened, and yeah, that's a pass interference any day of the week and twice on Saturday in our case.
Fair enough. What a game this has been. Our first introduction to the IFAF, and it has been a good one. Once again, Joe Foreman on the call alongside David Pizzuto, thanking over 1,100 live concurrent viewers, one of the most viewed broadcasts in the history of the PDF Sports Network. We hope it will not be the last. Thank you to the Polish and the Finnish who have joined us, as well as our domestic audience here in the United States. Shotgun look for Poland here. First down. It is a handoff and a big gain on the ground. Zaremski tripped up and finally tackled just short of the Finland 35.
But he's on the lip of field goal range, Joe, and Poland's going to run plays very quickly here, so we might not get a chance to show you the replays, but that's a big-time gain, a big hole to start that, and the ball's at the 37-yard line. So from here, you're looking at a 55-yard field goal, so they need a little bit more real estate here to tie this game up.
The clock should be in the frame with just a few more yards gained, and they have that and then some. Zaremski still going, finally tackled. And a big gain on the ground has Poland in field goal range, trailing by 3.
Yeah, and the clock should stop to reset the down markers, Joe, but they're going to go real quickly here. We'll give you a quick replay of that one hitting the hole, but we're going to get you back to live action because Poland's looking to run. 2:45 remaining.
And a flag comes in for a false start, and that will slow Poland down and back them up 5 yards.
Yeah, and it gives everybody a chance to just exhale here. And now you're well within field goal range here. We've made field goals 42 yards and 37 yards in this game. And right now, this would be a 42-yard field goal from right here. But you'd like to think Poland has an opportunity here to pick up some more yards. And especially with the way they've run the football on this drive, they have Finland going backwards.
Shotgun look for Poland once again on first down and 15. They have Finland on their heels, and they have an incomplete pass. Bit of a miscommunication there, and with the look they had, one-on-one on the outside, if that connection is made, there is a big opportunity for Churaszewski to make a man miss.
Yeah, and those quick slants, those 5-yard ins, 5 yards outs, those take timing, and those take practice and patience, and that's just a case where Bajczowski just doesn't know where Churaszewski is or where he's going to be inside of that break, and so there's no synchronicity yet for this team with that play. Second down and 15. Got to get yards here for your kicker first. I think that's paramount.
Shotgun look. Bajczowski throwing, end zone, incomplete.
Oh.
And Dave, if you go back and look at the coverage on this play at the line of scrimmage, Churaszewski had Wario draped all over him. They were face mask to face mask at the snap, and immediately Bajczowski went that way with the fade route.
Yeah, we're looking at it now, and our folks at home are watching it. But yeah, and by Churaszewski giving him that look, they think he's going to go to the inside. Instead, he went out, and that play was there to be made.
What do you think, coming off the two big runs, about back-to-back pass attempts? And on top of that, they hurried to the line with under 3 minutes to go in a 3-point game.
You can see the clock on your screen now. It's 2:25 to go. It's still plenty of time. But I think they need 5 yards here, Joe. Get it back in field goal range.
And they are going to hand it off up the middle. And they picked up a few there.
Got about 3.
Schrute picking up about 3, as you said, Dave. And they're well within field goal range for Churcott. And it looks like He is going to come out for a field goal attempt.
So the line of scrimmage is the 23, it looks like, Joe. So this will be a 40-yard field goal. He's made from 37 and 42. So they split the difference on those two, and it'll be a 40-yarder from the left hash mark.
Huge moment in this game. Churcott for the tie.
Ooh, might have been wide.
No good wide left.
Wide left is right, and that's good pressure by Finland on the rush, too. It maybe gave the jitters a little bit to Chirut, although he should be just looking at, getting that leg into this kick. But let's take a look, Joe, and it just didn't look right from the minute it came out.
Second look coming up here.
Yeah, looks like he struck it with good pace. It's just
he almost had it blocked, and I
Yeah.
think that might have been part of the equation as well. Finland really got after that field goal attempt, and importantly, we should note that the clock did wind under 2 minutes with that field goal attempt. So the 2-minute warning will not be able to assist Poland here in stopping the clock.
Right. But by our count, Poland has all 3 of their timeouts left. So Finland does need a first down here.
Oh, look at the cushion, Dave. Look at the cushion. And they'll hand off up the middle. And, Dave, I almost would have been tempted to audible into a screen pass there.
Yeah. I know. It's tempting.
It is so tempting. I would have done it. That's the kind of cushion they had.
That's just the thing, though, is that, Poland – maybe that's why they're showing that, is they want you to throw that ball because
it was 3-on-2.
Yeah. But Poland has called their first timeout. They have 2 remaining, and it stops the clock with about 1:50 remaining. So Poland, listen, if they can get off the field on 3 plays, and whether or not they have to use their 3 timeouts or not, they probably will get the ball back with just over a minute to go in the game. Now, the problem is they won't have any timeouts by the time that happens, so they're going to have to exclusively rely on the passing game. But if they can hold here, force a punt, maybe get the ball back at their own 45, 50-yard line, they're not out of this game. They're certainly not out of this game yet.
And, Dave, you can always look at what you've done throughout this game. They have forced a lot of critical errors by Finland. You cannot afford that here if you're the Finnish. At the very worst, 3 and out and a punt, force Poland to use all 3 timeouts. That's bare minimum. It's a shotgun look and a quick throw on the screen pass, blocking ahead, and Poland able to make that tackle, but not before Finland picks up what could be a game-clinching first down.
Yeah, and Poland has called their second timeout, Joe. So the ball's at the 35-yard line. It's a first down, so Finland has a brand new set of downs, and Poland will only be able to stop the clock once. So at this point, Joe, it does look like Finland has the game in hand. They can essentially take 3 knees here and maybe even run a play on 4th down and just hang it up high. We'll have to see.
I think they'll have to backpedal into a knee and let some time bleed off, but you're very close to that point, Dave.
Yep.
They started with 155. They need 120 on the clock or less to run it out with 2 kneel downs, so I don't think we're there yet.
I'm sending out vibes to our camera guy to get us that scoreboard back. Maybe they will.
Yeah, I'm not much of a believer in vibes.
4,000 mile away vibes, Joe.
They did go with that screen pass on 2nd down, and I think that's credit to them for having the guts to do that. Now, Peltokangas slides down there, and we cover a lot of football where if you're tackled behind the line of scrimmage, that clock stops. That is not so in the European game.
Yeah, that's a loss of 6 on the play. 2nd down. Poland has called their final timeout. They are out of timeouts, and they can't stop the clock from here, and Finland gets to run at least a minute off the clock, and I just don't know how much time there is left on the clock. The public address announcer does say it from time to time, so every time he says something, I'm trying to listen in, but we just don't have eyes on the clock here. But, Poland is still discussing strategy. Finland is still in their huddle on the field, and they know that it's just going to be knee time or doing what Peltokangas just did. Run time off the clock as much as you can and then just take a knee. But he did the right thing there. The minute he showed pass, I was like, wow, that's why. 33, there is time, Joe.
Certainly.
Yep. Good job, camera operator. Vibes work.
And Peltocongas is tripped up. That being said, Dave, if they can bleed off 12 seconds with 2 snaps, this game is effectively over.
Well,
12 or 13 seconds.
Yeah, so now it's 3rd down and about 17 or 18, I should say. And they're going to run this play with about a minute left on the clock. And then there'll be about 25 seconds left when they have to run a play on 4th down. So they're going to have to punt, Joe. I don't think they're going to be able to.
Well, they only need to run off 120. There was 133. So if they take 13 seconds between 2 plays, they will not have to punt. Let's see how much time they have left now. 50 seconds. So they only took 3 seconds on that last snap, Dave. That's not nearly enough. If they can run off 10 seconds here, then they will not have to punt. I think that's unlikely.
Yeah, well, they've called timeout because they've exhausted the maximum that they could of the play clock there. So Finland down to 2 timeouts, and they could do the same thing on 4th down. So they can run a play here and then literally see the play clock go down to 1 second and then call another timeout and then run a play with about, 8 seconds left, 10 seconds left, and then Poland will have to, either go hard on the punt or I don't know what Finland will try and do.
Well, Dave,
punting has been an adventure.
I know what I would do.
What would you do?
What I would do if you're in a situation where, let's say, this play takes 7 seconds. So now you're left with 43 seconds minus the 40 for the play clock coming down, and you're left with 3 seconds now in the game. Snapping the ball to the punter, and I'm running straight out of the back of the end zone to end the game.
Yeah, that's a good idea. But remember, the game can't.
The game. It can't end on a safety?
I don't think it can end on a score. I don't think it can end. But we'll see. Let's see. Maybe it can.
I think it can end on a penalty, but I think it can end on a score. Well, that's why the coaches get paid the big bucks, and not me, I guess. But if the game can end on a score, it could definitely end on a score. I've seen games end on safeties before.
All right, so here we go. 3rd down and 18.
Yeah. Heavy set at the line of scrimmage, and they will hand off on a misdirection. This should end the game. It's a big gain across the 40, across the 50, and out of bounds in Poland territory as Una Toivonen is able to pick up a massive gain on the ground to clinch this one for Finland.
Joe, we mentioned that at halftime, right? Misdirection. If you could run the misdirection, you are going to catch Poland because they get to the ball. Wherever the ball is, they are like bloodhounds. And they went to the ball, only the ball wasn't where it was supposed to be. Instead, it went to Tuominen, and he was off to the races. Now Finland can officially take a knee and get out of here with a strong exhale. Despite 4 turnovers in this game, they'll be able to come out of it with a 3-point win.
And how about the showing for Poland in this game as well? A team making their first appearance in this IFAF European tournament, and they gave a great showing, and I think that's especially true on the defensive side of the ball. Outside of 2 critical plays, they were excellent in this game, but Finland getting the job done on their home turf, pick up the win in Group C play. Dave, final takeaways from you.
Well, it was not pretty. Let's just put it that way. In fact, there were a lot of errors. But for 2 teams, Joe, that really haven't had a lot of time together, haven't had a lot of time to mesh, haven't had a lot of time to practice, this was a really good showing. This is really, really good youth football, and we were treated to a very entertaining game. I'll tell you what, Joe, Poland's for real. They are for real. They have the makings of what could be something special. Youth football is growing in that country as a whole. The future of that country is looking bright. Finland took care of business today. They can utilize this game and build off of it. Only good can come from here, I would think, for them. But their mission was to win, Joe, and they got the job done. You could say barely. You could say not without a little bit of fortune, but they got the job done. 16-13. It was a very entertaining game, and kudos to both teams for showing out here in Vantaa.
Yeah, and I think for me, Dave, one final takeaway. I'm going back to the last drive for Poland in Finland territory where they picked up a first down. They were gashing the finish on the ground. Back-to-back big plays on the ground. They went back-to-back passes on the following 2 snaps, ended up in a 3rd and 15, then picked up a couple of yards on the ground, and that wasn't enough for the field goal as the kick missed wide left, and I think that sequence is ultimately where this game really turned toward Finland for good. The Finnish, of course, already had the lead at that point, but I think the lead up to that last field goal attempt is where you're going to see a lot of the Polish fans questioning the decision-making in that spot. That being said, it was a great first-time showing for Poland in this matchup and a very entertaining game in the debut of the IFAF here on PDF.
Yeah, and Joe, this is something that Finland does in their home country is they will give out awards to both teams, both players of the game, for both Team Poland and Team Finland. I think many organizations in the IFAF do this as well, so they probably do this in Poland as well. But very little surprise here. Oliver Zaremski gets the Player of the Game honors for Poland. He was a workhorse, Joe. He really ran the football very well. Good things coming for this young kid as well. Zaremski is 19, so he will not be a part of this team next year in the tournament when the medal games happen, but he showed out. Great job for him.
No question about it. A lot to be impressed by from these young athletes in this game today. It was a lot of fun covering the IFAF for the first time here on the PDF Sports Network. But for now, we will sign off until next time. This has been Joe Foreman alongside David Pizzuto on the call. Be sure to check out more of our coverage here on the PDF Sports Network throughout the spring and into the summer. Of course, we cover the Maple League, the Professional Football League in Finland. We will have that for you a bit later this year. We also have the Jersey Bearcats coming up very soon, the New York Bears, the Jersey Sharks, the New York State Little League Baseball Championship, and much more. All of that coming up here on PDF. And once again, we'd like to issue one final thank you to what is the second largest live audience in the history of the PDF Sports Network. We peaked at over 1,200 concurrent live viewers during the finish to this game. We had a blast covering it. We thank all of our audience, both domestically and internationally, for joining us. Until next time, this has been Joe Foreman alongside David Pizzuto. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your Saturday.